Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Sam Redgate-Large channel. And today we are back for some Premier League football. And what have we got? Well, we have got what looks like is going to be an almighty relegation scrap. An almighty relegation scrap, it looks like, that Everton now find themselves in. An absolute monster of a relegation scrap. And hopefully that does mean that we end up with a good game of football today. It's set up nicely. Frank Lampard, of course, against his former side in Chelsea. A lot to play for in that sense for him as well. Lots to play for him and lots to play for both sides as Chelsea look to maintain that third place position. And of course, Everton will be looking to push themselves out of the relegation zone or keep them close in distance. Results went there against them yesterday with Burnley picking up a 2-1 win. Of course, Leeds lost 4-0 to Manchester City, but that 2-1 win by Burnley after a late comeback thanks to a Josh Brownhill goal did mean that actually Everton find themselves a few points adrift now. We'll have a look at the table in a second before we get into the teams. And then what we can do is we can see how big a win would be for the likes of Everton today. We can have a look. They do have a few games in hand, of course, which will play into their favour a little bit. But as we always say, and as everyone seemingly always says, you'd prefer to have the points on the board, wouldn't you, than the games in hand. And Leeds and Burnley definitely have that. So do be sure, if you are in the chat, guys, and you're listening along, let us know that you're there. And of course, welcome to everyone who is just filtering in and starting to join us for today's game. I can see Cameron's been in earlier on saying Chelsea will 100% win this. I'm not sure on the confidence there, Cameron. I like it, but I can never be that confident personally. But I love the confidence, mate, and great to see you in the chat so early, supporting the channel. Excellent stuff. And let's hop over then. Let's hop over onto the other screen. I've got the, as you can tell, I am at my, I'm not in my usual studio, if you will. I'm not in my usual green screen, as you can tell by the fact I've got all of this behind me. This is because I'm back at my parents', so I've got my old setup all behind me, which is a nice, refreshing change. So obviously this screen doesn't quite work as well, but it still looks pretty good. And I think you guys can see that okay. Let me just check on my phone once it pans back. Yeah, you can see that okay. You can see everyone there. I don't know if I can make it any bigger, in fact, just to help you guys out a bit more. If I click on here, will it go any bigger? No, it won't. There's your answer. There is your answer. Cool, blimey, why did that go so far out then? Blimey, that did not help me. That did not help me one bit. Right, that's now too far out. Let's go back in again. There we are, that'll do. That'll do, that'll have to do. So, as you can see, guys, here is the league standings following yesterday's games. And of course, like I mentioned, Everton do have a few games in hand on the teams around them, notably Leeds and Burnley, the two sides who are, well, I would say struggling, but they aren't really. Afternoon, Oliver, how are we doing? I wouldn't say that Leeds and Burnley are necessarily struggling. Leeds, of course, are on a bit of a mixed form. Burnley have found themselves a little bit of form under Mike Jackson since the departure of Sean Dyche. So Everton now, rather than being one of the favourites to stay out of the relegation zone, are now probably the favourites to stay in. Like I say, Everton need to win both of their games in hand in order to get themselves out of the relegation dogfight. And that is where we are fundamentally today. That is where we are. Everton need to do something, and they've got one of the toughest opponents to do that against. Chelsea have only lost 5 times in the league all season, and it takes a lot to beat a Chelsea side, or it has done previously. Only Manchester City and West Ham before the last month or so were the teams that had beaten them. So if you catch Chelsea on the right day, then absolutely Everton can get themselves a win today. But it depends very much on which Chelsea team comes out goal scoring and firing today. It's really interesting the way that this battle at the bottom is heating up. Everton, of course, will be wanting to try move themselves out. They've got a lot of quality in that squad, undoubted quality. There's no doubt that if you were to look at those teams from 16th to 18th, that you'd say on paper, Everton have one of the sides with the most quality. They do. But something this year just has not clicked. To be honest with you, I don't know. There's been a few injuries. There's just been a little bit of everything that has gone wrong for Everton at this current moment in time. And as you can see by that result there at the bottom, 8 wins, 5 draws, 19 losses. What an awful season for Everton. An awful, awful season. And they'll be needing, definitely the word is needing, to win today, which piles a lot of pressure on Chelsea. You'd like to think Chelsea, as you can see at the top end of the table, you'd like to think that Chelsea have pretty much guaranteed themselves a Champions League position, minimum of Europa League, it looks like, for Chelsea this season. The only other side that could probably catch them other than Arsenal is Tottenham, especially with the fact we have 5 games in hand. You wouldn't imagine that Chelsea are going to drop, well, in order for Manchester United to go above them, Chelsea would have to, Chelsea would have to not gain another 4 points. Not even that, because Manchester United are on, so it's not mathematically possible for them to go lower than Manchester United. There we are. That's taken me a while. Big C33 says, evening from Thailand, Sam. Lovely to have you in. And fantastic result for Huddersfield yesterday. What a result that was. But lovely to have you in. Hope you are doing well, mate. Hope you are doing well. But as you can see, like I was saying, the lowest is Europa League now for Chelsea, which is semi-job done. I mean, it wouldn't be an awful season if we finished outside of that position, but I think third has had Chelsea's name on it for that long. And if you look at the massive inconsistencies of Arsenal, Tottenham, Manchester United, and those sides in those positions, if you will, then Chelsea would feel like that they should be there and that they should be in this top 3. All season we've talked about Liverpool, City and then Chelsea. It would be weird if Chelsea were to finish out of that. But of course, anything can happen. They have got 5 games left. And importantly, Chelsea do tend to pick up the draws. That is what has dragged them further down. Because, look at Arsenal there. They might have lost 11, but they've only drawn 3, which means they've won the same amount of games as Chelsea, which are the big points scorers. They are the big points scorers. But here we are. This is the table. Chelsea will want to push, and of course they do have a game in hand technically on Liverpool and Manchester City, so they'll want to keep themselves as close as possible come the end of the season. If we cast our minds back to midweek, it was Chelsea versus Manchester United. Let's see if I can find that fixture for you. Obviously, I didn't stream that one the other night. As many of you guys were aware, thank you for the support. And of course, there was a video that did drop as a result of me not streaming on Thursday night. But this was the result from the other day. Manchester United won, Chelsea won, and goals coming from, if I remember correctly, I can't actually tell you who it was. There were 2 goals quick fire. It was Marcus Alonso and Cristiano Ronaldo. So 2 real goats of the game, if you ask me. Marcus Alonso and and Cristiano Ronaldo. But as you can see, that's probably not the result that Chelsea were wanting there. Chelsea wanted to go against the Manchester United side that haven't been playing well and go and get themselves some goals. And that's just not quite happened, has it? It just hasn't. Something just wasn't quite right for Chelsea on the night. Of course, Cristiano Ronaldo, he can't be stopped at the moment, scoring plenty of goals, but he's the problem, allegedly. So there's plenty for Chelsea to work on themselves. And if you look at those last 3 results, which are on the left-hand side of that screen, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. Can you see my mouse? I don't know if you can. But if you can see my mouse, oh, there we are. It's changing the colour on the screen anyway. Obviously, Chelsea, after that semi-final win against Crystal Palace, they've lost to Arsenal in an absolutely awful game from a Chelsea perspective. They've only just scraped past the West Ham United side that had a man sent off, and Jorginho took the most god-awful penalty I've ever seen. And then they've drawn with Manchester United. So not a great reflection of how Chelsea have been playing. Well, it is a great reflection of how Chelsea have been playing, actually, because they've not been playing well, and that's the important thing. That is the important thing. They've not been playing well this season. But let's have a scroll up, and here are the teams for today. And As you can see, Chelsea making a couple of changes. Everton sticking with Frank Lampard's familiar 4-3-3. Let's just have a gander at the bench before we do have a look through this, and let's have a look at some of these missing players. So, as you can see, Dominic Calvert-Lewin was doubtful, but as you can see there, he is on the bench. Ben Godfrey, another player who was doubtful. Of course, he is out on disciplinary. Andre Gomez, injury prone, seems to be in and out of the team quite a lot. Nathan Patterson unfortunately got injured a few months back and he is out for the rest of the season. Andros Townsend and of course Donny van der Beek doesn't come back till mid-May, so whether he'll feature again in an Everton shirt we don't know. And of course here is the bench as well for Everton: Solomon Rondon, Alan Tom Davies, Dele, Michael Keane, John Joe Kenny, Branthwaite, sorry I nearly said Braithwaite, he's the striker, and Asmir Begovic, of course. And so that leads us perfectly onto the team for today, which starts off with Jordan Pickford, the England #1, surprisingly, in goal for today. And then at right back, they do have Seamus Coleman, the captain, Yerry Mina and Mason Holgate, with Mikalenko starting at left back. And one of the things, if any of you watched the second to last video, the actual video, not live stream, but the second to last video I did on my channel, I said Seamus Coleman, they should be looking to replace him. And you know, I think Seamus Coleman's been a very valid servant for Everton, but I do think that there are starting to be a few problems that are being caused by Everton having to rely on Seamus Coleman. And as you can see, Mikalenko, of course, is starting at left back. And John Joe Kenny this season has had to play out on that left back role or that right back role, and they just don't quite have the depth in full back, especially when you look at like Ben Godfrey getting injured, Nathan Patterson getting injured. These don't help, and so I think they need to be able to rely on someone who's a bit younger, a bit fitter, and with a bit more pace and power in those wide areas. Don't get me wrong, ever the professional Seamus Coleman, and he might do a half-decent job as a right centre-half if you were to play at the three at the back. But knowing the way that Frank Lampard likes to play, which is with, you know, a 4-3-3, typically we've seen it at Derby, Chelsea, and now, as you can see on your screen, at Everton as well, Seamus Coleman, for me, doesn't quite fill me with confidence in that right-back role. But that being said, none of this defence has been fantastic this season. So where they'll go from there, I don't know. I really, really don't know. The three across midfield, then, is Obi-Wan, Alex Iwobi, Fabian Delph, and Abdoulaye Doucouré. Again, a midfield that on paper looks semi-decent, but we've not seen enough of it. We've not seen enough of it since Alex Iwobi left Arsenal. Whoops, just kick me stands there. As Alex Iwobi left Arsenal, we've not really seen anything to justify that massive price tag that we've seen Alex Iwobi move to Everton for. Fabian Delph as well, since he left Manchester City, has been nowhere near the quality that he was at Manchester City, and of course he was a player that dropped in at that left back role as well. And you know, you'd be surprised if Frank Lampard at some point wouldn't have used him, but clearly he's valued more in central midfielder. Abdoulaye Doucouré, I've seen him being discussed as one of the most important players in this Everton side because of how undeniably different he is in terms of the positional play, in terms of the midfielder that Abdoulaye Doucouré is. And so as a result, it's very much one of those where if they lose him, if they get relegated, I think they'll lose him because he is a fantastic player, Abdoulaye Doucouré, but he's really, really important. And if Everton are going to get themselves going up this season, Abdoulaye Doucouré needs to be at his very best. Afternoon, Max, how are we doing? Yeah, he needs to be at his very, very best over this last few games because not only does he insert pace and power, he can as well insert some goals from a little bit deeper. And an Everton side that is a little bit short on goals at the moment will definitely need one. Afternoon, Fraser, how are we doing as well? And then the three up front for Everton: Damari Gray, Richarlison and Anthony Gordon. Of course, a lot of talent in that front three, a very young front three, a very young team overall. As you can see, 27.1 years is the average age of this squad. So there's plenty of development there, but Frank Lampard needs to keep this side in the Premier League. If they can keep them in the Premier League, they can build. But this team will be absolutely picked apart if they get relegated. The wages will need to come off. They'll be dropped massively, and this Everton side will be picked apart, and it will take a while for them to be rebuilt. I imagine out of that starting lineup, if they go down, Jordan Pickford will definitely be out of there. Decore will be out of there. Richarlison, I assume he will be out of there. Damari Gray is another player who will be out of there. And then you look at the rest of the players. Fabian Delph, he could go to a Southampton, do a job. Anthony Gordon, okay, he might be able to go down depending on the wage, but he won't want to, especially with how good he's been this season. So it's not just the fact that Everton could get relegated at the moment, which is beckoning and looming large for Frank Lampard. It is the fact that if they do then get relegated, the amount of players that wages will either have to be cut or they will have to be sold is an absolute monumental amount. Absolutely monumental amount. And it doesn't look good if you're an Everton fan. It really does not look good if you are an Everton fan. And third from bottom doesn't sit very well with a side such as Everton, who historically have been minimum top half side, and potentially fighting for Europa League a few seasons ago, and did have Europa League a few seasons ago as well. I'll just have a sip of my drink, and then we shall discuss Chelsea. Let's start off, of course, Eduard Mendy. No introduction needed there. We all know the qualities of that man by now. 6'6". We know the talents, don't we? Then the three at the back is Antonio Rudiger, Thiago Silva, and Cesar Azpilicueta. Interesting that they've gone with Azpilicueta as the right centre half. I think he'll be more at the right wing back. Reece James drop in, but Reece James, to be fair, was fantastic against Manchester United in midweek. So whether Tuchel will change it, or depending on how much joy and freedom they're getting down that right-hand side, that'll be something interesting to weigh up. But I do think Reece James, with the way that he played in midweek, it could be more than possible that is the correct way. We've just seen it over the last few weeks, haven't we, that Azpilicueta's been playing as that right wing-back and Reece James playing as that third centre half. And then on the left-hand side is another player who, of course, as we know, Antonio Rudiger will be leaving Chelsea come the end of the season. And looking at left-back or left wing-back, looks like there's going to be another player who's going to be leaving. Marcus Alonso has been what's the best word? Scouted, I guess is the best word, by Barcelona. Barcelona looking to try and get the Spaniard out of Chelsea. Marcus Alonso, of course, used to play for Real Madrid back in his youth days, and he is very much a player who is excited at the prospect of moving from England to Spain, which is an interesting factor in that. And so it should, I think, see Marcus Alonso leave Chelsea Football Club, which leaves an even bigger gaping gap. If Ben Chilwell gets injured next season, then who plays at that left-back role? And Chelsea, of course, the position they are in, Marcus Alonso can't go anywhere at the moment, but depending on the takeover, he should be able to move on to Barcelona or wherever he sees fit in the summer, pretty much as he sees over that course of the summer. But like I say, we just don't know where Chelsea will be come the summer transfer window. We're still yet to be completely taken over. There's still quite a few consortiums battling it out. So who knows where that will go. And we'll look at the two in midfield then. Jorginho and another star. Lovely stuff to see for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Finally getting the credit he deserves. And with Reece James coming in at that right wing-back role as well, he can play in that favoured central midfield role, which has been suiting Ruben Loftus-Cheek recently. Jorginho as well does come back into the fold. He's been sort of in and out of the team recently, of course, missing that penalty against West Ham last weekend. So he's been in and out of the side, but definitely can do a good job when required. Then in front of him is probably one of Chelsea's players of the season in Mason Mount. And then it looks like it's going to be a two up front once again with Timo Fortnite-Werner and Kai Havertz up front together. An exciting duo who seem to be working well at the moment for one another. We will just look as well, we'll just have a quick scroll. What time is it? We've got 10 minutes until kick-off. Let's have a quick scroll through the Chelsea bench and see if there's any surprising names. Of course, Romelu Lukaku is starting on the bench for today. We've got Aspilicueta, Arisa Balaga, Malang Sarr, Trevor Chalobah, Saul, Mateo Kovacic, Kennedy, who, as you can see, still yet to play despite being recalled from his loan, Romelu Lukaku, Hakim Ziyech, and of course Christian Pulisic as well, who did get that late winner of last weekend against West Ham United. So that is the two sides for today. Do let me know your score predictions for today's game. Do let me know. Do let me know what you're thinking. Now Burnley have won 3 in a row and drew the game before. I can't see anything but Everton relegation. That's a very good point, Aaron, and I was meaning to look at that. So you've just given me an incentive of an idea. I was going to have a look at Everton's fixtures over the course of the next few weeks, because this is really the telltale sign, isn't it, whether Everton will go down, is who are the fixtures against? Because it's all well and good having these games in hand, but if they're not good games in hand in the sense that, they're not against Watford, Norwich, teams that they can beat, then you've got to be worried, haven't you? You've got to be worried if you're an Everton fan. And as you can see, here are 2 of the games in hand. Everton playing Chelsea and Leicester City. And then if we just scroll over as well, they do have a game against Watford, but then they have Brentford, who are in fantastic form, Crystal Palace, who battered them 4-0 in the FA Cup, and then they've got their final day. They've got to go to Arsenal as well. And I do believe they've got a game against Manchester City. No, they don't, sorry. Never mind, ignore that. But they've got Arsenal on that final day. Why did Manchester City come into my head there? I have no clue. But as you can see, all of these games, like that one, Watford, are they mathematically relegated yet? I'm not sure they are. Watford, mathematics, let's try work it out. They've got, how many games have they got? They've got 4 games left, which is 12 points. So Watford aren't mathematically relegated. And if they aren't mathematically relegated by then, Everton are going to have a real problem, because if Watford can pick up a few games, and I'm not saying this will happen by any stretch of the imagination, but if Watford can pick up a few games and a few good points, then it could be really important for them. Afternoon to Curly as well. Hope you had a great birthday yesterday. Make sure you get loads of everyone in the chat, put some happy birthdays in for Curly, as he did turn 22 yesterday, and go on, drop him some love. Who is the caretaker manager? Never heard of him, but he's done great. Burnley, his name is Mike Jackson, not to be confused with the singer. I have never heard of him either, but he's definitely, maybe it's just that freedom, that new manager bounce that we always talk about, Aaron, that has been so convincing there for Burnley, sorry. But like I say, if they take it and Watford are somehow still in this fight, that game could be monumental. It could be absolutely monumental, that one there. And like I say, going then to Brentford, Crystal Palace and Arsenal, as well as having Chelsea and Leicester in your final few games, my God, who knows, eh? Who knows? I would not want to be in that position if that was me. That's all I am saying. That is all I am saying, ladies and gents. I would not want to be in that position. Let's have a look at some of the comments. Big up the Chelsea, 4-0 incoming. Stoke-on-Trent is blue. Don't know what Curly's been smoking last night, but hopefully he had a good birthday. I don't know where Max is just quoting, by the looks of things, all I can describe as Inter Milan players. Afternoon to Lewis as well. What did you think to the Newcastle game yesterday, Lewis? What did you think? There was a little bit of drama in that game as well. I do apologise. I'm just going to have to turn down my TV. There we are. Hopefully you can't hear that. And then some happy birthdays for Curly as well. And Norwich are relegated. Yes, they are. They got relegated yesterday following another defeat for Norwich City. Let me just angle this a little bit further down there. There we are. That's better. And we shall be underway in a short while, ladies and gents. Like I say, get your score predictions in. Of course, Curly's gone with 4-0 to Chelsea, which is an interesting one. It's a difficult one because I don't know where Chelsea are at the moment. Had it been Had it been Chelsea in December, I'd have been like, yeah, I can back a 4-0 to Chelsea, but I'm not sure I can. But that being said, last time Curly went with a massive at least 4 goals in a prediction. He was really close to getting it. So, who knows, eh? Who knows? I'm going to go with 3-1 to Chelsea. That is my score prediction today. I feel like it's a score prediction I go for quite a lot, but I'm going with 3-1 to Chelsea. And Lewis has just absolutely matched that as well, and he's gone with 3-1 as well. So, great minds, Lewis, great minds as well. Lamps is a bit hit and miss, either getting battered or putting up a fight and getting a draw. He's been the Everton side at the moment has been absolutely all over the place, hasn't it? It's not been really the fairest of reflections of how this Everton side can play, and it's been really, really strange. Of course, he's inherited a squad. And I just don't understand the transfer policy at Everton either. Why would Everton logically go in for Dele Alli when you're in a relegation scrap? You don't go in for someone like Dele Alli, someone with such a poor attitude, or a Donny van der Beek on the bench who's not played minutes of football in ages. You go in for someone who is really, really impactful, and someone who is... what's the word? Someone who's going to fight for their lives. Dele Alli isn't one of those players, and I don't know why you'd do it. I also don't quite like the energy that this tunnel is giving off. You know, they're just sort of, other than Seamus Coleman, who seems like he's got his head in the game at the moment, just, you know, focused on the game. Everyone else is sort of looking about. They're doing whatever the stretches are, and of course it's important to stretch, but there's just something about that mindset. If you think back as Chelsea players come out onto the pitch, if you think back to the Champions League final last season, Chelsea, Azpilicueta led that Chelsea side out onto the pitch. They were all just dead focused, looking forward. The Manchester City players looking left to right, chattering, doing this, that and the other. And it's just something, it's just just a small, we're going to miss out the word subliminal, it's just a small thing that I think will really, really impact people's heads and brains. And of course, I know that's how some of these Everton players are, particularly Jordan Pickford. But for me, it's just a sign of a team that maybe aren't quite all focused on what they should be. And it's like some of them have come out without their training jackets on. Some of them have them off. And it's just small things that make me think, actually, you know, if you can't coordinate yourselves to all come out with your training jackets on, how are you going to coordinate yourselves to play 90 minutes of football together? Like, I don't get that. I really don't get that. Let's have a look. Max has said, haven't watched Chelsea in ages, apart from the 10 minutes against the Manchester United game. I mean, I didn't watch him against United. I sort of had him on in the background. I was sat playing on my Xbox, so I was enjoying that a bit more, and of course doing a bit of editing. It's funny how Ali and Van der Beek didn't want to join Newcastle because they didn't want to be in a relegation fight. Yeah, I mean, hindsight is beautiful, isn't it, Lewis? Hindsight is beautiful. I don't think anyone could say the turnaround that Newcastle, to the degree that they've had, in the sense of them now being in the top half, I don't think anyone would ever say that they ever imagined them to be in the top half. I think even the most, you know, supportive of Newcastle fans such as yourself and Aaron would always say that you maybe expected yourself to be in about 15th place now, but it's been a great turnaround. It has been a great turnaround, and the graphic that's just come up on my screen did put Reece James as part of the 3 at the back, so that'll be interesting to see. We'll see once that's on the pitch as well. Curly says, I'm going 4-2 to Chelsea. Richarlison double for Everton. Mount to score 1 from a free kick outside the box. Assist 1 from a corner. Timo Werner score. And then a double from Havertz. Oh, Curly's gone very, very precise today. At the time, everyone said Everton and Lamps were great for bringing them in, but they clearly had no thought or research behind them. I thought Donny van der Beek could have been a nice signing for him. I didn't understand Dele. I think a lot of people didn't understand Dele. That signing. It's a player that, if you're going to be in a relegation dogfight, you don't want a player like Dele Alli. Donny van der Beek is someone who will work hard for the team no matter what. So, yes, it's clever, but he's also never been in that position. So that's what you've got to look at. You've got to find someone who's going to battle hard and battle long. And like Max says, Lampard versus his former club, it most certainly is. The first time we've seen him coach Everton against Chelsea. Of course, he's not made his return to Chelsea since being sacked by Chelsea just over a year ago. What a strange day it must be as well for some of these Chelsea players. Of course, the vast majority will have been brought in under Frank Lampard. You look at the likes of Mason Mount, who of course got their first breaks. Thank you to Frank Lampard for that one. Reece James is another. But there is a lot of players here for Chelsea with a lot to prove in front of their former coach. And we are underway then, ladies and gents. We are underway in the first half between Everton and, of course, my beloved Chelsea. My absolutely beloved Chelsea. Curly, you put Mount to score from a free kick outside the box. What is he going to score one from inside the box? Lol. I mean, technically you could. Everton feels like Dele's last chance. Are we about to see Jack Rodwell-like decline now? Wouldn't surprise me at all, as Chelsea give away a free kick inside 30 seconds there, and it's in quite a dangerous area as well. Ruben Loftus-Cheek there, just caught napping in the early stages. Yeah, it seems like that could be something that happens, if I'm honest with you, Aaron. It definitely could be. You know, he's a player that there's no doubt that if you get him and you get him in a team that he's ready to work for and willing to work for, there's no doubt there's a player in there. You know, a player doesn't come into the league. Really, Aaron. You don't come into a league at the age of 18, score 18 goals or whatever it was, and not be a talented player. It's more about the work rate and his mindset. Which is interesting. Let's see who takes this free kick then. Mykolenko and Anthony Gordon over it. It's Anthony Gordon! Straight over there. Should have tested Edouard Mendy, if I'm honest with you. Should be testing Edouard Mendy there in the early stages. He's put that one high wide and not at all handsome. And Chelsea there could have had a warning sign shot across them. Let's see where Reece James is as well when we have a look at the ball being flipped forward by Havertz there into the feet of Timo Werner. Werner there just caught under himself as Alex Iwobi looks forward for Richarlison. That would have had to be a Hollywood touch from a Hollywood ball there if Richarlison were to get that one down. But Everton, they've looked like they're starting bright, but Chelsea just managed to get themselves on the ball there. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, though, does give the ball away to Fabian Delph. Here's Iwobi Wankanobi. And Mason Mount's going to start the press from the front for Chelsea as Jordan Pickford looks to hoof one up the field. Reece James looking like he's just on Mykolenko at the moment, so it does look like he is starting at that right wing back role. Reece James there trying to get himself back in from Richarlison. There's a little bit of a slip there and Mason Mount's able to get on the ball. Lovely little nutmeg there from Kai Havertz, and Marcus Alonso might be able to drive into some space. Good defensive play by the looks of things from Everton. It was very clever defensive play. I think that's Anthony Gordon of all people managing to get himself back in there. Few fast changeovers of play at the moment. Let's have a look. I like to live dangerously, Max. What was that in response to? Chelsea 2-0 I'm going, says Max. Sam, technically you could do it because if you score an indirect free kick. Yeah, Huddersfield got an indirect free kick the other week actually against whoever Bamba now plays for, the centre half. I think he gave it away actually. I think that's why I've got it in my head. But whoever Bamba plays for, if someone could remind me who that is, but they did get an indirect free kick. It wasn't much use because it's a free kick inside the box, so you've just got 10 people stood on a goal line. So it doesn't really benefit you, but you know, one of them things, isn't it? One of them things. Sam, you must be annoyed with the 1-1 with United, right? Yes and no. We're kind of not really playing for anything at the moment. That's the thing. If Chelsea, you know, cruise themselves now to third place and, you know, it doesn't come back to bite them on the backside, it's like, yeah, okay. It's annoying that we don't win because obviously you want to win every game, but also Chelsea 6 points clear of Arsenal today with an opportunity to make that 9, you know, before Arsenal even kick off later. So it's one of those things, Max. It's one of those things. We've just got to suck it and see, really. We've just got to suck it up, make sure that, you know, we do our job, keep just getting some points on the board. At the end of the day, it is still Manchester United. Yes, they're in bad form, but if that team wants to turn up, that team could be a fantastic team. It definitely could be. It's Cardiff, says Lewis. Nice, that's who it is. But yeah, they did get an indirect free kick. Randomly, of course, it was one of the games I was watching a few weeks ago. Win probability 49% for Chelsea, only 23%. More likely to be a draw between Everton and Chelsea. Reece James does well though to turn out. Here is Jorginho. Jorginho tries to give the ball to Havertz, but Rudiger might be able to find him this time. It's a bit overhit there from Antonio Rudiger. Havertz has done well to drop that into Marcus Alonso, and Everton managed to retain possession themselves. Here goes Richarlison. Richarlison's going to try storm up the field, but that's some good defensive play there from Reece James, who had slotted in. He'd come in from that right-hand side there. Maybe that's something we'll see with Reece James and Ruben Loftus-Cheek both on the field. The two of them just swapping over, just moving depending on how the attack or the defence is progressing, because both players can play in those positions as well. Who is going to get fourth? You've got to back Arsenal now, surely. You've got to back Arsenal. Manchester United will be massively disappointed with the season that they've had. Massively disappointed. I meant technically you can't score from a free kick inside the box because you can't score direct from it. Yeah, but it still counts as from an indirect free kick or whatever it is. Gonna have to dip. Molly's just come over. No worries. I doubt she has said that. That would be slightly strange for Molly to have said that, but I'm sure that came from you more than anything, Curly. Sam, I'm going to the game on Friday, semi-finals, playoff for League One. Wow, that sounds exciting. Enjoy that, Fraser. That should be absolutely fantastic. Sounds good to me. I don't know who's playing in the League One playoffs this season. Mikalenko looks along there, looking for Decore, and that's gone all the way through there into the hands of Edouard Mendy. Both teams starting quite bright at the moment, actually, I must say. Both teams looking to get the ball down and attack, which is good. It's not just dictated by one side at the moment. Front row seat, Sunderland versus Sheffield Wednesday. Sounds great, that does, Fraser. I'm sure you'll enjoy that, and Sunderland could be on their way back up again. Who knows? Reece James into Kai Havertz. Here is Cesar Azpilicueta. Thiago Silva now. Chelsea just starting to dictate the play. Now get themselves on the ball, and there's so much gap in between the two defensive lines there, and that's whipped in by Marcus Alonso, looking for Werner, headed by Yerry Mina. Yeah, there's quite a big gap between that defensive line and that midfield line for Mason Mount at the moment, and you can't give a player of his quality time in that midfield position between the striker and the centre, Everton centre midfielders there. I thought that was a foul there from Timo Werner's going to line one up. Oh my gosh! I thought that was a foul there on, I think it was Kai Havertz, and then I think it was Werner it fell to. It might have been Mount, but it was an absolute sizzler, I tell you what. It was an absolute sizzler. Who did it fall to? Was it Werner? No, it was Mason Mount, I think. It was Mount. And he just sort of like, he just went to bend one as Havertz, I'm pretty certain, was fouled there. I mean, he's not got anywhere to go. You can say he maybe dived, but he's not got anywhere to go. Fabian Delph, comes across him, his leg's in front of Havertz. If he doesn't jump out of the way, he's still going to get hit. So I don't quite know what's going to. You're next to the corner flag. That'll be good if there's some goals up that end. I hope Sheffield Wednesday destroy the dirty scum. Nice. Says Lewis. Of course he does, as a Newcastle fan, and I'm sure Aaron feels the same as well. Of course, a long rivalry between the two sides. If you haven't already, guys, can I just remind you, do be sure to smash that like button and do hit subscribe as well for us. If you are new to the Sam Redgate-Large channel and you're enjoying what you're seeing, we bring you all the content for Everton versus Chelsea today. And if you haven't already, do be sure to get your score predictions in as well. Never too late. never too late. We'll let you, provided it's still 0-0, we'll let you bring in a score prediction. We most certainly were. I wish Argyle were in the playoffs. I know, it's only for big teams like Huddersfield Town, the playoffs, aren't they? Only for big teams like Huddersfield Town. Reece James takes the throw in. Oh, damn it. Ruben Loftus-Cheek there. He's just switched off there. I'm not sure if Reece James, didn't make him aware that throw-in was coming in. Giving the ball away there to Mykolenko. Here is Mykolenko once again into Fabian Delph, who tries to find Damari Gray. Here is Fabian Delph once again, back into Damari Gray, and Azpilicueta stands strong that time. Chelsea having to defend in this bottom right corner at the moment. A string of throw-ins for Everton. They need to get the ball down though into the pitch, then they'll be able to score from the throw-in. But that being said, here comes Mason Holgate to try his best to launch one into the box. Yerry Mina is going to be coming into the Chelsea defence as well, coming up to cause them some problems. Here is the long throw from Mason Holgate. It reaches just the edge of the 6-yard box there, and it's headed clear by Reece James. Lobbed back in though by, I think it was Fabian Delph there. It's come all the way back out though to Alex Iwobi, who stands one up. And Azpilicueta's a little bit clumsy there. Yerry Mina's gone down in the box. I'm sure they'll check that on VAR in case if that's a penalty. I'm not sure. It looked a little bit clumsy from them both, to be honest with you. I don't know if Azpilicueta does too much there to actually inflict any damage on Yerry Mina, or if I think Yerry Mina's looking for that. He's definitely looking for that. Azpilicueta's arm, yeah, he's looking for that. Absolutely good call there from the referee. 100% he's looking for that. Yerry Mina, big 6'4" lad. Azpilicueta at 5'9", walks back, has his arm up here, and he just flops like a fish. It wasn't like a swing or anything. His arm was just there, sort of thing, and he was just waiting for the contact to try and win himself a penalty. I don't know how players have the intelligence, if you will, use the word intelligence loosely, but to work out that they've been touched and then instantly think, let's go down for a penalty. It's absolutely bonkers that they do it that instantly as well. 100 penalty. I don't think so, Aaron. I don't think so. West Brom were in the playoffs a few months ago, but then, Bruce. Yep. Another team that's dropped off from the playoffs in the Championship as well was QPR. QPR, I think they just sacked their manager actually as well, QPR, but they were in third at one point, second place. They were absolutely flying. Azpilicueta finds Mason Mount. Here's Havertz once again. He's going to try wriggle free. Drops it into Reece James, who's going to try bully a few players out the way, but he's been double tag teamed there, and Richarlison might be able to attack himself again. Not attack himself, attack by himself is what I meant to say. Where Blackburn, I think they're 8th. I think they are 8th. I think Huddersfield and Nottingham Forest are the only two sides in the playoffs that have been confirmed in the playoffs. Forest did win actually yesterday. I think they won 5-1 after being drawing 1-1 with Swansea City. And of course Bournemouth won 3-0 as well. So the likelihood of Huddersfield getting that automatic promotion spot is very unlikely. But Forest, they just need to beat Bournemouth and then they're in the hot seat once again. Where's Blackburn? Somewhere in Yorkshire. They're technically not, they're in Lancashire. They are, I think they're northwest of Manchester. I think that's it. I think that's what I'm going with. Afternoon, Shrafter. How are we doing, Bailey? Hope you're doing well, mate. What's your score prediction for today's game? Jorginho drops it into Ruben Loftus-Cheek, into Werner. Chelsea moving the ball nicely there. Although that being said, Rudiger's just been covered up by the graphic on the screen, so I couldn't see what he was doing there. And Just Relax is back in as well. Good to see you. Good to see you. I don't know what you've changed your name to. Nani stole Ronaldo's goal. I'm assuming that's the really good Ronaldo goal that you're referencing there with your name. But good to have you in Just Relax. Good to have you in. Here's Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who rolls one forward into Marcus Alonso. Alonso's pass though was poor, and it's had to go back to Rudiger there. Here is Jorginho now, who's going to roll it out wide on the right hand side. Like I say, Reece James is starting in right wing back at the moment. Lol, I got bored. I assumed that was the thing. Good you, and 3-1 says Shafter. I've also gone with 3-1, so good prediction. Great minds think alike is, I believe, the phrase. But I've also gone with 3-1 to Chelsea as well, and I'm decent, thank you, Bailey. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're having a good bank holiday weekend as well. Would you prefer if you could have just what? Who would you prefer if you could have just one? It's cool that you recognise the logo. Yeah. Of course I recognise. But between Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Conor Gallagher, I mean, on paper, when you look at it, you'd of course say Conor Gallagher because he's 21, 22. But I think the player who would fit into this team better is the player who is in the team today, and it's Ruben Loftus-Cheek. That's what I'd say. That's the player for me who fits in the team better, which is why he's playing today. Conor Gallagher out at Crystal Palace, of course. Toon Tom, is that real Tom? Is that actually real Tom's account? Is that actually real Tom's account, or is someone mocking real Tom with that? My chat on my phone hasn't updated for ages. Is that actually real Tom's thing? I can't work it out. Has someone put? I genuinely can't tell if someone's put that. Oh, Damari Gray there broke up the field and took it onto his left foot. Yeah, I can't actually work out if someone's done that because Tom's not a mod on this account, so who knows. But afternoon to whoever's pretending to be Tom, or if it is actually Tom, and they've gone with Everton 2, Chelsea 0. Seems like a very real Tom prediction to go against Chelsea, I must say. Here's Jorginho now into Azpilicueta. Chelsea need to move the ball a little bit faster. They just got hit on the counter-attack there by Damari Gray, and it looks to be a feature that maybe Frank Lampard's been looking at in midweek to hit them on transition, to hit Chelsea on transition. We know how good Chelsea are on transition at the moment, don't we? So maybe it's something that Frank Lampard would like to incorporate into his game, as I believe that was Antonio Rudiger finding his way into the book for a cynical foul on Seamus Coleman, who broke away from Marcus Alonso. Sam, Arsenal are going for third. The way that you phrase that, I don't believe that's Tom anymore. Tom wouldn't say it like that. Oh, Seamus Coleman was not happy with that tackle there. From Antonio Rudiger, who's been booked. But a little bit of afters there between the two of them. Anthony Gordon's going to whip this one. God, that's a deep ball in towards that back post, looking for Decore. Havertz has done well. He might be able to flick Mason Mount away as well. Oh, lovely play from Mason Mount into Marcus Alonso. Oh, that was nearly one of the best starts to a counter-attack I've ever seen. Mason Mount did a couple of keepy-uppies, flicked it over, tapped it onto Marcus Alonso. Alonso's first touch was magnificent, and then, fortunately for Everton, they managed to retain possession, because if Alonso just gets that extra half a yard there, I think they're in big trouble. But they're just able to regain it. And nearly was absolutely scintillating football from Chelsea. Nearly fantastic football from Chelsea, like I say. Desperately unlucky as Jordan Pickford has to rush all the way out of his box there to try and keep that one on. It's a good flick there by Anthony Gordon, who just got a little bit of miscommunication between Richarlison and Anthony Gordon, and Azpilicueta's felt the full effects of that tackle from Richarlison there. I'm not sure if he just caught a stud as he was going in for the ball there, just like a little bit of a clip, a little bit of a graze. We know how painful they are. Werner into Loftus-Cheek. Here's Rudiger once again. Jorginho goes out wide now to Reece James. Chelsea just need to try and up it if they can, and that's a good ball there from Jorginho to find Havertz. Havertz's ball for Reece James has taken him wider than he would have cared for, and that's gone out for a Chelsea corner. Chelsea corner, 20 minutes in. Probably the best of the opportunities so far falling to Everton with that counter-attack from Demarai Gray, which eventually found its way into the hands of Edouard Mendy. Not a lot has happened though in this opening 20 minutes, apart from of course Rudiger getting booked a moment ago. No real clear-cut opportunities. So it's Mason Mount who's going to take this corner. It's whipped in towards the box and headed clear, and then hoofed clear by Demarai Gray. Havertz manages to get himself underneath it as he's running back. Reece James there tries to get the ball down, and referee's given a foul away there. I'm not sure why the ref's given a foul against Reece James in that situation. Didn't look like he'd done too much wrong, the English fullback, I must say, but maybe that's a little bit of my Chelsea bias falling into that one. Maybe so, I would assume so. Very, very interesting, this Chelsea side, when you look at the goal outputs for the attacking front three. Of course, the top goal scorer for this Chelsea side this season has been Mason Mount with 10 goals and 9 assists. A good season for Mason Mount, even though it's been, in terms of stat-wise, one of his better seasons. In terms of probably his all-round play, it's maybe not been as good, because he has had, as well as the whole of Chelsea, they've had their problems, haven't they? And, you know, not having a goal scorer in front of him has definitely hindered Mason Mount in some aspects, but also he's come up big for Chelsea when they have needed him. And when you look at the two players playing in front of him today, Havertz had that sort of bit of a purple patch between January, February, maybe even March time. Doesn't feel like too long ago, where he scored against Burnley, scored a couple of games in a row. And yeah, it's really, really strange the way that this Chelsea side set up. Will they be able to find themselves a goal scorer? Of course, there's a bit of a curse of the number 9 when it comes to Chelsea as well. Is Toon Tom Oliver? I think so. I think Toon Tom is Oliver. It definitely seems like something he would do. And Matt should be greatly pleased to see that Tottenham have just managed to get themselves a goal. So it is Tottenham who have just scored as well. So Spurs are 1-0 up as well. So at least we've had a goal in one of the games in the Premier League so far today. Would have been nicer if it had been in this one though, wouldn't it? Would have been nicer in this one. Oh, not 100. There we are. Stephen Jackson is back. It was Harry Kane. Thank you, Stephen, who says it was Harry Kane. Harry Kane, as Antoine Griezmann says. I'll take it though. Fantasy football points, I will take it. Can't be the only one who had a bit of a disaster class, thanks to Mo Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold both being dropped yesterday. And then my first sub is James Tarkowski, who scored an own goal, which was fantastic. Thank you, James. Really appreciate that. If you're watching, thank you. I put a little bit of faith in you and Burnley, and that's how you reward me. Jorginho slips one into Timo Werner, into Mount. Now is Reece James going down this right-hand side. Reece James, he's going to cut in to try and get on that left foot. He's managed to somehow ricochet the ball off Richarlison and keep it, but Decore is there to nick it, and he might be able to set Everton on the counter-attack here with Anthony Gordon. Gordon rolls it in towards Iwobi, and Iwobi's never beaten Rudiger there to the foot race, and Chelsea are going to try and play the way out of the back as well, and it's done really well. Oh, what a turn that is from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He's got himself away from Fabian Delph. This could be a great counter-attack. Here's Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek into Mason Mount. Mount inside the box. Clips one in. Oh, towards Havertz. It's going to fall to Reece James. Oh, it might fall again inside the box for Chelsea. Can Werner get himself onto it? Oh my gosh, what a turn that was from Mason Mount. What a turn that was from Mason Mount. I must say, it was a brilliant, brilliant turn from Mason Mount. From Ruben Loftus-Cheek. A brilliant turn, and then he rolled it into Mason Mount. That's why I had him on my mind. But wow, what a turn that is from Ruby Loftus-Cheek there. Completely just opened up the play with a delicate turn to get himself away from from Fabian Delph there. Lovely play from him. Spurs are 1-up. They most certainly are. Most certainly are. Going 3-0 to us today. Nice, Stephen. Nice, Stephen. Backing his boys. That was so good from Ruben Loftus-Cheek there. That was so good. It was just the touch at the edge of the box. Just took him a little bit too far back than he would have hoped for. I was expecting him to almost unleash one. If I'm honest, I was expecting him to unleash one. Max says he prefers Plymouth Argyle. I mean, I'd prefer anyone to Hotspur. I'm still in awe of that turn. It was a lovely turn from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. It shows the quality of him when he plays in a side that caters to him. Ruben Loftus-Cheek can definitely be a top class player. He's just been so desperately unlucky over the years with injuries, and you know, he went to Fulham in a side that didn't really suit him whatsoever. But what a turn that was, and you start to see the glimpses in this Chelsea team, don't you, of how good Ruben Loftus-Cheek can actually be. Chelsea need a bit of movement up front from Havertz and Werner at the moment. Aspilicueta and Reece James trying to keep the ball as much as they can, but there's no movement for them, no strikers in the way. Had to come back here towards Thiago Silva once again, because there are no options further forward. Ooh. Here's Marcus Alonso. Finds Mason Mount into Timo Werner. I think the ball had gone out of play there. On that left hand side, I think the ball had gone out of play. He's just having a word here, Kevin Friend, with Kai Havertz and Yerry Mina. Must have seen something that he didn't like in the build-up to a few of those there. Just a little bit of argy-bargy for no particular reason. And both scrapping with each other for no real reason, to be honest with you. Havertz ended up worse off of the two of them on that occasion. Kevin Friend just trying to stop that from involving a full-blown conflict between the two of them. Of course, both very important players to both of these sides. Yerry Mina over the last few seasons has been one of the staple players in the Everton side, and of course Kai Havertz, like I say, over recent weeks has definitely looked like a different player, contributing goals, assists, and overall just being a lot better. And of course Thomas Tuchel's first choice, and at the moment one of his first names on the team sheet is Kai Havertz. Of course Mason Mount behind him, and Reece James, another two who you would argue are probably more of a first name on the team sheet, as Mikalenko whips in across there, and that's a good save by Edouard Mendy, who is I think the first person on everyone's team sheet at the moment. Edouard Mendy, he's been fantastic. The Spurs goal came from a corner. Leicester are crap at defending them, says Max. Very true, very true. I wonder if we'll see some drama like we did last time in that Spurs versus Leicester game. Who knows? Probably never to the same extent. Probably never to the same extent that it was all those weeks ago. That was a fantastic game. I remember watching that. That was so good, so good. If you haven't already, guys, do be sure to smash that like button for us, and do hit subscribe if you are enjoying. We are how many? We're 6 likes away from that goal of 15 likes. So if you could help us out, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Fan-dabby-dozy is the phrase. Oh, I'm moving a few more pillows behind me. I like to be sat very upright. It's something I'm learning for doing these. As Jorginho there was just fouled by Fabian Delph, who tried to come through the back of him, but Chelsea have just given the ball back to Everton anyway for a throw. This time it's Leicester who score 2 late goals. Jamie Vardy having a party. Won't surprise me. Would not surprise me. Leicester definitely have the talent to do it. Definitely do. Still can't believe Jamie Vardy's hit double figures this season. I cannot remember watching Jamie Vardy once this season. Like every time I've watched Leicester City play, Jamie Vardy's been injured, but somehow he scored double figures this season, and I don't know how. He's a fantastic player, isn't he? He doesn't need much. Jorginho rolls 1-2. Reece James now. Reece James is going to try to go to the byline. Tries to get past Mykolenko. Mykolenko with some poor defending there. It's chipped to the back post towards Marcus Alonso. Marcus Alonso there just gets his feet in a tangle. Everton able to clear with Alex Iwobi. Iwobi nearly gives the ball back. He does he? No. Anthony Gordon's done well there to actually, I think he's won himself a foul as well from Antonio Rudiger. Yeah, he did really well there, Anthony Gordon, to actually win the ball back. It looked like, to be honest with you, it looked like that the counter-attack had gone. Because it was a poor pass from, of course, Alex Iwobi Kanobi, but Gordon did very well actually to win himself a foul in the first place. So Chelsea just have to be a bit more sharp, a bit more sharper. He says that, and using the worst English he's ever used. Chelsea just need to be a bit sharper in that final third at the moment. It was good play by Reece James that time, but there was a bit of fortune in the way that the ball had gone to Reece James. That's a great touch from Kai Havertz from the following free kick from Everton. He just plucked it out the sky. Very, very good touch. Aspilicueta now rolls it into Reece James. Reece James is just so full of confidence. He looks brilliant, Reece James does. He really, really does. Full of confidence. For me, he's definitely one of the best players in this Chelsea side. I'd definitely say Reece James is on that world-class quality. I'm not sure if you guys agree with me, whether you think Reece James is world-class now, but I think he's top 5 full-backs in the world, including left and right backs. He's top 5 for me. Got to be top 5. I don't even think I could name the 5 in front of him, the 4 in front of him, to be honest, if you're going to say he's 5th. But obviously the debate there is Cancelo, Walker, Trent. And then, to be honest with you, maybe Hakimi, maybe Alphonso Davies, but even still, I'd say Reece James is probably a little bit ahead of them at the moment. I don't know what you guys think, whether you think Reece James is at that level. I wonder what Frank Lampard's thinking during this game, of course. A player who absolutely loves and adores Chelsea Football Club, but he has a job here to do today for Everton. Havertz is having a bit of a word with Seamus Coleman. I don't think he's quite liking Yerry Mina today. They're just trying to get under Kai Havertz's skin at the moment, the Everton players. They're just trying to rattle him, see if they can get something out of him as Richarlison flicks one towards Decore. Can Decore see Mykolenko coming in at that back post? It's good defending though by Thiago Silva, who hoofs that one clear and into touch there. I thought Mykolenko was free. He was free, but the ball from Decore to try and find him wasn't good enough. Here's Anthony Gordon now. Anthony Gordon's going to shoot! Oof. Not bad there from Anthony Gordon. Couple of yards wide, couple of yards, bit of a half opportunity from the edge of the 18-yard box. It was a bit of a clumsy turn, but he managed to get the ball back down once it had fallen nicely for him, and it was just maybe a couple of yards wide there, Anthony Gordon, but just lining up his sights, The free kick was high, wide, and not at all handsome. That one's just getting a little bit closer for Everton. I'd still say they've had the better of the opportunities. I'm sure if we were to look at half-time, I don't think at the moment Chelsea have had a shot on target. I can't remember one if there has been. That being said, who knows what my memory's like at the moment as Havertz rolls that one into Timo Werner, who's going to try and go past Fabian Delph. Well, that's some good play there by Fabian Delph. Werner just feeling a little bit of a knock on his elbow there. I'm not sure if it was just a clash of bones between the two of them as they push towards each other. Maybe a bit of a dead arm there for Timo Werner. Maybe a bit of a dead arm. There's nothing worse than on a cold day when someone's elbow goes into your arm or someone's knee goes into your thigh or something like that, and you've got to try. Oh God, I do not miss that whatsoever. I've just given myself PTSD there. I've just given myself a PTSD. Who should I design a match day programme for? Everton and Chelsea. Do that. You know how much you look. You love Everton. and you love Chelsea, mate. So why not do that? Why not do that, eh? Where is Romelu Lukaku going this season? Why is he going this summer? Is he going to go this summer? It's really interesting, really interesting. I was so excited when Lukaku played. There was that game against Arsenal 3 weeks in, and Lukaku looked great. Lukaku looked great, and Chelsea looked like they were firing, and you know, Lukaku was playing well. Reece James got himself a goal. I think Mason Mount got himself a goal. Oh, Thiago Silva. Whose ankles has Thiago Silva just broken there? Poor old Anthony Gordon, I think it is. God, he's got a family, Thiago. He's got a family. I don't love them, but okay. Yes, you do, Max. I remember that's all you've said, is just how much you love Chelsea Football Club. Almost exclusively. I think that's what all your channel's about, isn't it, Max? That is a hell of a kick from Jordan Pickford there, if Iwobi can keep it on. No, he can't, but that was a hell of a kick. A hell of a kick there from the England international. Come on, Chelsea, let's up this. Rudiger closed down there by Richarlison, but Chelsea managed to regain the ball again. Marcus Alonso drops it into Jorginho, into Thiago Silva. Chelsea are going to have to play their way out from the back once again. It's good play, but it's making me worried, I must say. Sam, do you need to go to Specsavers? No, Max, it's all you've ever said is, I remember you going, I love Chelsea Football Club, and I also remember you saying that Mason Mount is your favourite ever footballer, is what I remember you saying, and that Spurs are absolutely rubbish. So don't lie to yourself, Max. Don't lie to yourself. You know it's inevitable. You know it's inevitable. Inevitable. Oh, it's all kicking off again here between Azpilicueta and Seamus Coleman now. It's all kicking off. All kicking off. Azpilicueta has clearly heard something he don't like. I've never seen Azpilicueta react like this before. I've never seen Azpilicueta react like this before, I must say. I'm sure that'll be a yellow card for Azpilicueta. I have never seen him react like that before to anything, to be honest with you. Him and Seamus Coleman were going at it, and then started gobbing off with someone else. Azpilicueta did. Very, very strange one, because of course Chelsea, Azpilicueta and Coleman for Everton are the two captains, so it's the two players that you wouldn't necessarily expect this from. Azpilicueta finds himself in the book as well, and Seamus Coleman finds himself in the book as well for their involvement in that. Let's just have a look what happened again. It was Yerry Mina and Mason Mount it was. Mason Mount just gives him a bit of a shove, finds himself in the book as well, and that's where it all comes from really, because Yerry Mina was absolutely all over Mason Mount, and I don't think Azpilicueta liked that one bit. But there are a few needless sort of pushes and shoves coming from both sides here, so we could end up with a fruity second half if it carries on in this situation. But Azpilicueta or Thiago Silva, more likely, needs to get a hold of some of these Chelsea players, because they are just starting to flare out a little bit at some of these Everton players, and Everton are doing exactly what they want. They're bringing the game down to their level. As Richarlison wins the ball back deep inside the Chelsea half. It's rolled into Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon tries to get himself away from Jorginho. That's good defensive play there by Jorginho. Afternoon, Wiki. How are we doing? Here goes Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He's going to roll it out wide to Kai Havertz, who I'm surprised hasn't got himself in the book himself. But that's what I'm meaning. That Chelsea... Ooh, there's a VAR check for handball that went briefly, but I think they deemed it as, because it hit both players' arms, I think they deemed it, well, it's hit both of their arms, we'll let them both off sort of thing, rather than pulling it back for a penalty or a free kick in that situation. But like I say, Thiago Silva I think is going to have to be the man here, just to calm a few of these Chelsea players down, because Azpilicueta's getting himself rattled as well. So there needs to be a leader in this team to step up. Jorginho and Thiago Silva will need to do that, because Chelsea are just bringing themselves down to Everton's level. Everton are happy to play the scrappy, fighting type of football because, you know, that's what's got them into this situation, and that'll be what gets them out of this situation. But Chelsea are a much better side than this, and have a lot more quality, and don't need to engage in these kind of little scraps and stuff like that, because they're much better. If they just keep playing their football, they'll break Everton down. They will break Everton down. It's undoubtable. Absolutely undoubtable. Here's Rudiger, who is also on a yellow card. Marcus Alonso rolls it back into Jorginho. Jorginho couldn't decide if he was passing it to Reece James or Azpilicueta there. Played it in between the two of them. Here's Reece James now, though. Reece James rolls it forward, looking for Havertz, and that's well nicked actually by Mason Holgate as he pushes his way through. 40 minutes on the clock, ladies and gents. If you are just joining, the better of the opportunities really fall into Everton. Chelsea yet to register a shot on target, and if there was one, it wasn't really a memorable one, is all I am saying. Probably the biggest talking points, like I say, being those yellow cards, and both teams sort of trying to rattle each other, if you know what I mean, trying to get in each other's heads. A few mind games being played by both sides. Havertz here trying to get away from Mikolenko. He's just fouled there, is he? What? He's not fouled, and so it's given as a handball by Kai Havertz there. I did think it was a foul, but maybe deemed to have just been a slip. Kevin Friend just needs to get a grip on this game here, because Havertz, of course, fell on top of the ball, so the ball was underneath Kai Havertz, and Richarlison's come over trying to push him and shove him. Havertz isn't on a yellow card, but he still needs to be careful, because Kevin Friend will lose his patience with both teams, really. With both teams. I mean, it's a handball, but I don't know why Richarlison's in such a rush there, considering Havertz fell on the ball. It's a little bit questionable, some of these decisions from both teams. I think they're just getting in each other's heads a little bit too much. Here's Richarlison. Like I say, the more that happens, the more that, for me, falls into Everton's hands, because Everton are happy just to scrap and cause problems that way. That's what they're happy to do, especially now that Chelsea, of course, Rudiger, their prime winder-upper, if you will, their key jokester, key prankster, is on a yellow card as well. It does make it Chelsea that they are on the worst case, if you will, worst case scenario for them. Wiki says this game looks a bit smelly already. I mean, in terms of football, it's not been great, but at least we're getting some drama in the sense of few argy-bargy bits, I must say. A few argy-bargy bits. It's not been the greatest of football from Chelsea. Like I say, yet to create an opportunity, I think, on target. Only 2 attempts. 75% possession for Chelsea, but only 2 attempts on goal. Everton with 3 attempts from 25% possession. So that'll tell you all you need to know. Chelsea, as always, dictating possession, but Ruben Loftus-Cheek again. He's been absolutely quality so far. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, 1-2 with Mount into Werner. Timo Werner. Good defensive play by Seamus Coleman. Seamus Coleman just has to be careful there. Werner's done well to roll that one back. Here is Marcus Alonso. It's blocked once again by Yerry Mina on the edge of the box. Reece James might be able to get the ball down, but Doucouré's got there just in case. But Ruben Loftus-Cheek is being the standout player for Chelsea at the moment. He's been fantastic. The way he picks the ball up, he shifts his body, takes it on the back foot and drives into space. We've seen him do it 2 or 3 times in this game so far, and he looks absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. For me, so far, been the player of the match. He's just gliding past players, using the players well that are around him as well, using that big, strong, powerful frame that he has, and rolling through the strikers as well. Werner just took himself a little bit too wide though on that occasion, but it's definitely a worthy fight at the moment for Ruben Loftus-Cheek in that midfield, and the fact that he seems to be winning. Chelsea's midfield seem to be dominating, but they just cannot, for some reason, create those opportunities in the final third, and that's where it really matters, doesn't it? In the final third, it's all well and good having 75-78% possession, if you're not going to create anything, you might as well not bother. Havertz there just collides with Yerry Mina again. That's an ongoing storyline for this game as well to keep an eye on, as I think that was Damari Gray tried to break free. His cross has gone all the way out the other side though towards Mykolenko. This is turning into a feisty game, I must say. Reece James couldn't quite hit the ball off Mykolenko. Mykolenko has done well to win himself a throw-in. That is a bit of a storyline that's developing there between Havertz and Yerry Mina. Havertz is more than entitled to go for it, but I don't think he needs to leave one on the big Colombian there. In comes the throw in from Mason Holgate. It falls towards Havertz's feet, sorry. Gordon picks up the ball, and Havertz has won the ball back there from Mason Holgate, who will have another crack at another bite at the cherry, is the phrase. Another crack at the nut, I guess. We have got well, let's see how much extra time we get at the end of this first half, as there's going to be another throw in. It's going to fall to Decore there. Good block there by, I think that's Thiago Silva who's committed there. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Make sure to stick around, guys, for half time. We'll do a bit of a guess the quiz. Guess the quiz? That would be a weird quiz. Guess the player quiz, not guess the quiz player. We'll do one of them, and hopefully that'll work nicely for us. Crack at the whip, isn't it? Yes, that will also work. Bite of the cherry is also another one. There's too many phrases, you just get them all muddled up. That might fall to Richarlison though. Richarlison in the box. It is 1-0 at half time from Tottenham. And Leicester, Harry Kane with the goal there. Harry Kane! Says Antoine Griezmann. Here's Iwobi Kenobi. Good interchange there with Anthony Gordon. Not with himself. Just played the ball in between both of his feet. Oh, Everton give the ball away again. It's sloppy. Oh, that was a hefty tackle on Mason Mount there. That was an awful tackle. That was a really, really poor tackle on Mason Mount there on the halfway. I didn't quite see it in its entirety. Fabian Delph, I think, is going to be in the book. He definitely didn't mean anything there, Fabian Delph, but he's just late. He's very, very late. I'm sure it'll look worse. And he's very lucky there, Fabian Delph. He's very lucky. If Fabian Delph's foot is any higher there, I think that's a red card. It's a clumsy one. A very, very clumsy one. Very clumsy from Fabian Delph there. He's lucky to have got away with that, I must say. Lucky to have got away with that. If he, like I say, if his foot's just slightly higher there, Fabian Delph, then I think he's in trouble. He just needs to be a little bit careful. Of course, he's on a yellow card as well. That'll be what, a fifth, sixth yellow card of the game already. And we're only at half time. So if anyone's got any booking points on their bets for today, they're definitely going to cash some in with Chelsea and Everton today. But that is half time, ladies and gents. That is half time. And let's see what you guys have got to say. Let's see what you guys have got to say. Sammy's like, how dare you tackle my boy Mason Mount? It was a really hefty tackle. Really hefty tackle, Max. If you saw that, it was a really hefty tackle. It looked a lot worse initially, but it's because the studs, say if this is Mason Mount's foot and it's planted on the floor, his studs like just sort of hit just next to it. So if it had been on the top of the foot, I think it might have been a red for Fabian Delph, or it might have been at least checked by VAR. But as the case was, that it didn't actually make a connection, that Fabian Delph has kind of got away with one there. Stephen Jackson absolutely says it's Spurs 1, Leicester 0 and Everton 0, Chelsea 0 at half time. So not really a half to remember in terms of goals for either two teams, either four teams should I say. Across the two games, with Harry Kane having the only goal so far. Harry Kane having the only goal so far. That's my crappy Griezmann impression from when he pretended to be Harry Kane when he scored. And of course, Fraser is back as well. Let me let me get ourselves a quiz up here. Quiz up, isn't that a quiz? That is a quiz game. That's very useful, isn't it? That's very useful. Let's see if I can get this loaded up for us then, guys. Let's see if I can get this loaded up for us. And I need to see how big it is as well with the on the screen before someone clips that out of proportion. That is an awful one. Who on earth is that? We are just going to refresh that. We're going to start again. Let's go England quiz. Let's start the England quiz and go. We'll do that. We'll do the England quiz. Harry Kane shouted Griezmann when he scores. That's the rumour, isn't it? That is the rumour. Let's see if we can see this. Of course, as we deduced last time, that I can see him a lot better on my phone than you guys can on yours. So let me see what it looks like on here. I do need to zoom in just a little bit. I mean, it looks Leek Town. I mean, I don't think any of us are going to get this one. But we'll just try and zoom in a little bit further for us, if I can. Why is it not letting me? I was pressing the wrong button then. Oh, no, that's too far in. We'll go with that. That should be okay. Hopefully you guys can see that. Good first half. Could have put some the chances away that we had. More pressing second half. And let's get these goals, says Stephen. Absolutely. But it was more Griezmann. Yes, absolutely. Right, we're going to leave this first one. If anyone knows who this player is, you know what? I am going to take a stab in the dark. Okay, that was not the correct. I was just going to type in a 5-letter name there and go with the word Jones. But I have no clue who that is, so we're just going to solve that one. Nope, not a clue. Right, let's move on. Here we go. Here we go. I know who this one is. Oh, no, I don't know who this one is. Oh, I thought I knew who this one is then. All right, let's have a look. Let's have a look. So, hopefully you guys can see this on your screens. I think that looks okay. Right, so the player started off at Burnley between 2004 and 2005. 2004 to 2008 was at Aston Villa. Then went to... Okay, I know where it is. Then went to Bolton for a long period as well. So Bolton then he goes to Bolton. He then comes to the mighty Chelsea for 7 seasons, goes to Crystal Palace for 2, and is now at Bournemouth. And of course, like you can see there, is featured 61 times for England. Who is it, ladies and gents? Who is it? Christopher Stokes, afternoon to you. He says, have a feeling Everton will win. Unfortunately, I do as well, Christopher. Unfortunately, I do as well. I think that's Ronaldo 9. Nice one, Yusuf. I also think that is the case. Let's have a look, guys. What do you think? Oliver's gone with Cahill. Felipe Jones, says Max. Let's see who you guys think. And Max has gone with Cahill as well, if that's how you spell his name. Yes, it is. It is double L. I knew it was Cahill. I just couldn't remember if it was double. Oh, how have I done that? There we are. There's the first one. Gary Cahill, of course, former Chelsea and probably at one point England captain as well. So that is the second one for us that we haven't just skipped because it was boring. Again, this one might be a little bit too difficult for us considering the age of our players. The nation is Scotland. I'm assuming this is German, hence why it says Schottland. But has played for Liverpool in 2000 to 2002, but best known at Leeds by the looks of things, and Leicester. A Scottish player. Looks like a midfielder more than a striker. I could not tell you. Does anyone know? Does anyone know? If anyone does know, do get in the chat and let us know what you think. Let us know what you think. Who this player could be. I think it's a little bit before. As a general rule of thumb for our group, whilst the teams managed, Coventry, Leeds and Aston Villa are the teams managed, which again doesn't really help because I cannot remember who managed Aston Villa between that time. That is not going to help me one bit. A Scottish person who did that, who's got such a long name as well, is a huge name. I have no clue. I might just type the word Ferguson in and see if we get it right. I think Schottland is German for Brazil. Thank you, Yusuf. Always the informative person. So it's Ronaldo again. Let's give it a go. No, it's wrong. No. Any clues? Any clues, ladies and gents? Or we'll go with a bit of a. We'll give ourselves a clue. We'll go on the Joker one, and we'll give ourselves the first name. Gary. Right. Okay. That did not narrow that one down whatsoever. That did not narrow. That could. Gary. That literally narrowed it down not one bit for us, considering the last person was called Gary as well. Gary Greenwood. Gary Neville, again, don't think he played for Liverpool. Let's go with a letter. Oh my god, this is not being good. Right, let's see if anyone can get it. We've got two letters here. Cahill again, Abanlahor. Lineker is someone who's Scottish, wiki, so it can't be Lineker. As he's English, so it cannot be Gary Lineker. And he also played for Barcelona at one point, Gary Lineker, didn't he? So despite the Leicester linking up and the first name linking up, it's not quite correct. Let's go for a picture. We'll go for a picture. If we don't get it from the picture, then who knows? Oh my god. Why is this such a... this photo as well isn't even from when he's playing. That's not even from when he was playing. That is from 2010 Liverpool. That is 2010... we're solving it. Who is it? McAllister. Gary McAllister. I mean, that would have been one of the Scottish names I would have attempted. And Steve has just come in and got that. Absolutely. Steve, you legend, has come in and got it. It's Gary McAllister. What a shout that is. I do feel like that's a very generic Scottish person's name. I don't remember him at all. I don't either, to be honest with you. Let's have a look then here. So this is the next one we have got on our screen. So, whoa, okay, interesting. Very, very interesting. So this is a Danish-born New Zealand international currently playing for Brentford, or played for Brentford last year, and has also played for West Ham. What? Yes. But did he play for West... I cannot remember. That's a lot of appearances to have made for West Ham for me not to remember who it is. I mean, it looks like it. Surely it looks like... No, it can't be. It can't be him. Yeah, it can't be him because of the West Ham. It can't be him because of the West Ham link. A Danish-born New Zealand international. A Danish-born New Zealand international. I have no clue, man. A Danish-born... Visser is 5 letters. It's Ronaldo's cousin. A Danish-born... Evening to Dino as well, who's joined us. I'll read your comment in a second, mate. A Danish-born New Zealand international. Oh, I think I know who it is. There's a New Zealand There's a New Zealand international centre half who used to play for West Ham, wasn't there? It was half decent. I can't remember his name. Winston Reid. That's it. Yusuf's got it. That's it. That must be it. Yes. What a shout that is. I was on the right lines. I was getting there, but Yusuf, what a shout. Good stuff, Yusuf. What a shout. Winston Reid. I did not remember him playing for Brentford, I must say. On loan, by the looks of that. On loan. We'll move on to the next one. Here is the next one for us. Let's have a look at Dino's comments. As Everton will beat Watford, Palace, draw with Leicester, maybe even draw today. But Burnley losing to Villa twice means Everton are absolutely safe. I don't get the hype train for them to get relegated. The hype train, Dino, is because they are 5 points behind with 2 games in hand, with those 2 games being against Chelsea and Leicester City, which does make it very difficult for them to steal 6 points from them. It does take very, very difficult for them to steal 6 points from them. So we've got a Welsh international. It looks like a defensive player. A Welsh international who's played for Crystal Palace for a while. So Oliver, I'm waiting for you to come up with this one. And he's played for Burnley. He's also played for Wolves and Bristol City. It's a lot of appearances to have made for Wales for him then not to feature for Burnley. The lack of appearances for me gives it as a goalkeeper. It must surely be a goalkeeper. Oliver's gone with Wayne Hennessy. It has to be. Yeah, I think you're correct. I think you are correct. And if I can spell his name right, I think we'll get this one correct. Oh, I've spelt it wrong. Has it got an E before the Y? It must do. There we are. Wayne Hennessy. Good shout, Oliver. Oliver knows his stuff. Wayne Hennessy. Good shout. Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. Right, let's move on to the next one. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Sampdoria to Arsenal. Oh, I know who this is, but I can't think of his name. Sampdoria to Arsenal, Uruguayan international. Oh no, no one tell me. I've got it. Who plays for Fiorentina? Surely I've got this. Arsenal, Uruguayan. Arsenal, Uruguayan. I can picture his face. As well. He's looking at me and he's staring at me. Is it Lucas? Oh, God. Herrera? Torreira. Lucas Torreira. Yes! I didn't get that with any of you. I got it myself. Lucas Torreira. You are correct. It's how do I spell that, though? Torreira. Yes, Lucas Torreira. We're on fire here, lads. Let me just switch back to the main screen just quickly so I can check the how far away we are from kickoff. 2 secs. We've still got a couple of minutes by the looks of things. Kovacic is still warming up on the pitch. Let's go back. Why does Sam look like what? Why does Sam look like he's thinking about wow? That's harsh. Right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. A Welsh international. Oh, I can't tell you this one. I don't know who this one is. Played for Arsenal, West Ham, Wimbledon, Coventry, Glasgow Celtic, sorry. Whoops. West Bromwich Albion, and then Norwich. I don't know. Have any of you guys got this? Have any of you guys got your Welsh football knowledge on tap? 14 goals. For me, that must be a striker. Yeah, it's got to be a striker. Look at that Celtic. Look at that Celtic return. It must be a striker. There's no chance in hell it's anything other than that. Roberts? I mean, it sounds like a Welsh name, so we'll give it a go. No, it can't be someone called Roberts, Steve. I am not sure whatsoever. I think we're going to have the football starting again in a second. Williams. William. William. Not a clue. Should we go for we'll go for a joker quickly. We'll go for a picture. Oh my god. What's his name? Oh god. He presents on the telly, doesn't he? He presents on the telly all the time. Who is it? Someone, surely you must be able to get it. I'm going to have to switch over to the other screens. Kovacic is coming on. Mateo Kovacic is coming on in a second. Hartson, that's it. That is it. Oh, hang on. That is it. It's Hartson, isn't it? It's John Hartson. That I would get in. I've completely forgotten his name. What a shout, Steve. Steve, lad, you have come up big there for us. Hartson. I completely forgot his name as well. So massive kudos there to Steve for coming up big with that one. I think Steve was the man who got that one first. But what a shout that was. We are underway in the second half here, ladies and gents. We are underway in the second half. Let me get my timer all up and running, although for some reason OBS has decided to load up and I don't need you loaded up. But massive shout out to Steve there for getting that one. John Hartson totally forgot like his name even. I just was staring at him and I could not remember. He's been on that much footy TV and yet none of us could remember the man's name. The poor bloke, eh? The poor bloke. But we are underway and all ready for the second half then. Let's get this edited as well so that it says second half rather than first half. But we are underway. And, oh my God, I cannot believe John Hartson's name just disappeared from my brains there. Oh my God, Richarlison's through. What on earth? What on earth was that, man? What on earth was that? That was god awful. Chelsea just the catalyst of their own downfall there. Aspilicueta has the ball nicked. It's just tapped to Richarlison. It's a decent finish from Richarlison, but it's awful from Chelsea. Awful from Chelsea. Really, really poor from Chelsea. And not going to lie, looking at that first half performance as well, like you look at the first half performance, let me just pause this timer because for some reason I'm completely off where I actually am in the game. But Richarlison made that look easy. Chelsea just shoot themselves in the foot. Of course they do. It's Chelsea. Like, how other way would you be able to do it if it's not Chelsea? You know, shoot themselves in the foot. They slide themselves through. And Chelsea caught napping. And Frank Lampard, unfortunately, has to celebrate in front of Chelsea. Really, really poor from Chelsea there. Really poor. And to be honest with you, the story of Chelsea's season so far, maybe Dino was correct. Not understanding. But Everton look like they're not done as well. And Chelsea now, all of a sudden, after dictating play in the first half, maybe not creating the best of the chances, but at least dictating play in the first half, look like they're going to be the side to drive this game and have a grip on this game as Timo Werner there slips at the vital moment. Oh my gosh, Chelsea, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with this side at the moment? This is one of the most madly inconsistent teams I've seen in a long, long time from Chelsea Football Club. It really is. It really, really is. Richarlison, what minute did he score in? That is the question. Oh, that's a P. That's an M. Richarlison scored in the 47th minute. That's the minute he scored in. Brilliant, brilliant. What a start to the second half. What a start to the second half. Just what we wanted, eh? Just what we wanted. And that might be another one. Oh my gosh, Mikalenko's just put one over. Everton should be 2-0 up. Everton should be 2-0 up. Oh my gosh, Mikalenko should have scored. He should have scored. He should at least minimum test Eduard Mendy there. Chelsea have got away with one. Chelsea have really got away with one. Oh my gosh. Another defensive error. Exactly, Wiki. Exactly. We've got to iron these out, and we're losing defenders over the summer. It looks like we're losing, obviously, Christensen, Rudiger, and potentially Marcus Alonso as well now. And we need to iron these out. And oh my gosh. Chelsea make another defensive error. I cannot believe it. Aspilicueta doesn't usually get caught out like that. You're absolutely correct. When he sees Richarlison right there, he has to hoof it. All those sentimental top blues that won Everton to win, so Frank Lampard stays in the league, are getting what they want. I mean, I guess you can say that. He's just waiting for the FA Cup final. Yeah, it looks like it. But it's been... Oh my God. What is going on with this Chelsea team at the minute? And Dino says, exactly, I don't get the hype train sort of thing. But also, it's Chelsea's own downfall. It's not been it's not been Everton playing well, it was just Chelsea, again, shooting themselves in the foot, causing themselves problems. But I guess that's the quality when you've got Richarlison up front. He might be a knobhead, but he's hilarious, isn't he? You know, he scores the goals, he does a good job, and he can put them in the back of the net. And an opportunity like that for a man of his talents, Azpilicueta, if something presents itself, it finds itself in the back of the net as Mason Mount looks in this corner and it bounces off Rudiger and comes back out. Can Rudiger see that Marcus Alonso's back down the line for him? No, he can't. And Alex Iwobi clears the ball up the field. Everton and Burnley simply don't just get relegated, and they won't ever be. Does that mean you're tipping Leeds to go down, that one, Dino? Does that mean you're tipping it? It's going to be a draw, mate. Don't worry. Keep the faith. Says Jabe. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for a win. You've got to hope for a win against the relegation battle inside. The thing is, Everton will now just put their heels down, won't they? They'll be like a stubborn dog and just anchor themselves to the floor and be like, we're not budging, we're not moving. And that's what Everton will do, because they don't have to. They don't have to come out now. They don't have to step out of position. They step out of position. They give Chelsea opportunity to move the ball well. So they're not going to do that. They're not going to move quickly and easily at all. As Iwobi puts some good defensive play there to stop Marcus Alonso from running in behind. It was a decent ball actually from Thiago Silva, who'd spotted the run of Marcus Alonso, but Alex Iwobi manages to slide across. In comes the corner from Chelsea. Rudiger's header though was a little bit behind him when he actually headed it. Just beat these forwards. If we're going to beat anyone, Fraser, it's not going to be for Liverpool. I'm telling you that now. I'm telling you that now. Burnley haven't invested very much during their time in the Prem. That could prove costly if they don't fix that from next year onwards. Most certainly could. I mean, you look at the two teams that at the moment are the two that everyone sort of tipped to go down in, Burnley and Everton, and that's where the relegation battle was. You look at the two teams, one has spent very little, one has spent absolutely tons, and they're both in a relegation battle. And it really shows that it all comes down to the personnel. But like I say about Chelsea, 0 shots on target, and how many minutes are we in now? 52 minutes played, nearly 53 minutes played, and we've not had a shot on target. And again, I'm going to say it again for probably the 15th Chelsea live stream in a row, Chelsea need a goal scorer. They need someone who is going to step up on these big occasions. It can't keep falling to Mason Mount. It can't. Yes, Havertz has chipped in with what, 6-7 goals this season, but it's not a good enough output. Look at Richarlison like popping up then. Everton know where the goals are coming from. They've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin on the bench as well, another player who will chip up and come in with goals. So Chelsea need to do something. They need to do something. They need to buy someone, because we need a striker who's going to be committed to the side. We don't want any of this Lukaku rubbish, whose head is in bloody Milan. Oh, unbelievable. They need to create opportunities, Chelsea. Everton and Burnley should take heed to these warning signs if they stay up. They most certainly should. Honestly, I hate Everton so much. Hope they fall. One of the two has to go down, but I think it'll be Leeds. Wow. You think it'll be Leeds who go down? I do, but I can see Leeds going down, but I don't know if I'm saying if I'm saying that partly because of me being, the Huddersfield side of it, but also I kind of like to see Huddersfield versus Leeds, a Yorkshire derby, like a proper Yorkshire derby in the Premier League, and I think that would be really, really good. I think that would be really entertaining to watch. Maybe on one occasion Huddersfield could beat them, but I'm not sure they would be able to too often. Leeds seem to be a little bit of a step above Huddersfield at the moment. Oh my gosh. You need another midfielder before a goal scorer. I think a goal scorer. We've got plenty of midfielders. We've got Kovacic, we've got We've got Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante, Mount can play in there, Loftus-Cheek, Gallagher. We need a goal scorer. We need a goal scorer. Billy Gilmore will come back as well. We need a goal scorer. Maybe Armando Broja when he comes back. Maybe he'll fancy his opportunity. But even still, Chelsea need to do something about it. They need to do something about it. Everton and Liverpool are rivals. They definitely are. It's a local derby, so it's not like a rivalry like Liverpool versus City is, or Chelsea versus, I guess, Arsenal is. It's not like that, but it's a London derby. It's like that, isn't it? It's like Arsenal versus Spurs. So yeah, they are rivals, definitely. Maybe Mitrovic from Fulham can get a bus to work. Mitrovic, I can't believe he scored 41 goals this season. I've seen so many people joke about Mitrovic as well and be like, oh, he's pretty much just like the top of set 2 in maths. It's like he's just the top of set 2. Not good enough for set 1, but absolutely the best at set 2. Yeah, we do need a better defensive midfielder. We need a better defensive midfielder in the sense of a ball player and a ball-playing defensive midfielder. I do agree with that, but I think that isn't the gapingly obvious gap. Other than that backup left back, I think the gapingly obvious gap is that that striker is that striker role rather than the midfield role. I think that's it, and I know what you mean, that Chelsea don't create enough. But is that down to the players, or is that down to the way that Thomas Tuchel sets this up? Because if you look at the way that Chelsea play, we've said it before, haven't we, Wiki? They hit on the counter-attack. If the team isn't attacking, how do you hit on the counter-attack? You can't really, as Ruben Loftus-Cheek does really well once again, and he's won himself a foul there, surely. I didn't like how long Kevin Friend was taking there to decide that was a foul. But then Chelsea also play down the left and the right hand side, so it doesn't fall to those inverted number 10s, if you will, to create the opportunities. It goes out wide, but then we don't have a big Olivier Giroud, Tammy Abraham in the box to header the ball in when it's whipped in. We have Kai Havertz, who's good in the air, but he's not great. He's a 50p head. He's got a 50p head. It's unbelievable sometimes with Kai Havertz. He's a player that is so hit and miss at the moment, and today he's just been trying to rile up Yerry Mina, and at the moment, well, you can see by the scoreline, it's Everton who are winning that battle. Here is Marcus Alonso, flicks it into Timo Werner. Werner tries to get the ball back. Can he get it back from? He has, and he's dropped it to Marcus Alonso. My fault to Mason Mount. Oh, it's off the post. My fault to Aspilicueta. Oh my God, what a save from Jordan Pickford. What a save from Jordan Pickford. It was a lovely strike from Mason Mount off the post, and Pickford, the follow-up save was unbelievable. The follow-up save from Aspilicueta was unbelievable. He absolutely scrambled down to save the first one, and it's a brilliant second save from Jordan Pickford. What a save that is. What a save. That could be a big, big save in their season. Oh my gosh. What a save. In comes another corner. Rudiger. Oh my gosh. Pickford saves again. Pickford saves again. He's hurt himself, but Pickford saves again. Oh my gosh. Jordan Pickford is on fire at the moment. That's another smart save. He's hit it. He saved it with his face. The poor man. The poor bloke. He saved it with his face. Of course that one's going to work. Oh my gosh. Jordan Pickford keeping Everton ahead 100%. And that is why everyone tips him to be England's number one. He's shown it there in case if anyone needed reminding. 2 saves in very quick succession, just in case you needed reminding why Jordan Pickford has been England's number one. That is exactly it right there. Unbelievable save. It was the first save from after it hit the post from Mason. Does that hit both posts from Mason Mount? It might do, you know. It might well hit both posts from Mason Mount's drive. It does, I think. And then the follow-up from Azpilicueta, he just puts it on target, but Jordan Pickford scrambles all the way across the goal. And what a phenomenal save. What a phenomenal save. Petr Cech would have been proud of that one. Looking at Petr Cech there, I tell you what a save that is from Jordy Pickford to get himself over there and to get a save on that. I'm gobsmacked. I'm gobsmacked. What a save. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We're just waiting for play to restart now. Just after Pickford took the second one in the face, it's gone out for another Chelsea corner. Mykolenko as well also got a little bit of damage. The best way to say that in that trying to stop Antonio Rudiger from coming through. So Mykolenko has to come off, surprisingly. Chelsea do have a corner though. Marcos Alonso's gone out to take this. Are Everton going to be able to keep themselves ahead? Let's see. Marcos Alonso whips in this corner. It's falling in the box again there. Nearly fell for a Chelsea player. Reece James tries to strike it through a crowd of bodies. It's blocked by Decore. Kovacic is going to have to clip that one forward. I think it is Jorginho who made way for Mateo Kovacic. It seems to be the case to try and get some fresh legs in that midfield. Here goes Richarlison though. Oh, the left-hand side being tracked back by Reece James. And oh my gosh, there's a array of bodies in the box there, and Richarlison can't find his teammate up there. I think it was Demarai Gray in there who just slipped at the vital moment. Oh my gosh. So much chaos in this game so far. Richarlison with some nice feet to get himself past Rudiger and then get a shot off and then force a corner for Everton. Oh my gosh. Come on, Chelsea. Up it, lads. Up it. Rudiger does very well actually there when the ball rebounds off Demarai Gray. Does very, very well, I must say, to just flick that one back away, and so Richarlison has to start again. But Richarlison looks fast at the moment. His fast feet look brilliant. Spurs back in the top 4 by 1 point. That looks like it's going to go right down to the wire. In comes the Everton corner there. Then Kevin Friend just having a word with Decore by the looks of things. Making sure he's all happy with the big Frenchman. In comes this Everton corner then. Let's see what they can do. Come on, Chelsea. Need to up it. Whipped in, headed clear though by, I think it was Ruben Loftus-Cheek doing his defensive duties. It's gone out to the left-hand side. It's Anthony Gordon trying to burst past there. He clips in a decent ball, looking for Iwobi. Appeals for a handball from Richarlison specifically and the fans in Goodison Park. The referees waved that one away. Couldn't quite tell you myself if that was off the hand in there. This is too much chaos. Come on, Chelsea. Let's just up it. Let's get ourselves a win. Come on, boys. Come on. There has just been a VAR check, of course, on that handball. Looks like it's just been ignored. Just been ignored is probably the best way to say it. Just been ignored. Loftus-Cheek drops that into Azpilicueta. Thiago Silva into Mateo Kovacic. Now Chelsea need some movement. There's no one through the middle. Everyone's out wide, and that's all well and good trying to spread the play, but if you're all out there, you just make the pitch narrower. You just cause yourself problems. Azpilicueta finds its way to Reece James. There's too many people out wide, and then the runs are so one-dimensional. Everyone makes the same run. It's like everyone's programmed to do it. Oh my god, that was a great ball in, and Werner. It was a bit too direct for Werner to get his head back on that one there, but the handball, just watching the handball there potentially of Reece James, hits him like there, so I don't think he'd give it. Oh, Thiago Silva as well might have got away with one with that push on Demarai Gray. We saw it earlier on in the season, I think, where Thiago Silva was pushed and it was given as a foul. So interesting that that one wasn't then given. Kovacic into Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Azpilicueta now. Come on, Chelsea lads. Come on. I'm genuinely so sick and tired of being sat here. Well, not here physically, but being sat on a stream moaning about Chelsea. I can't imagine what it's like to be a Manchester United fan. I cannot imagine what it's like. It must be god awful. Rudiger's going to line one up from... Oh my gosh, Rudiger's got a strike on him, doesn't he? He's got a strike on him. Rudiger there tries to fire one in. Just goes over the crossbar. Looks like Chelsea have got... There's a wiki course for a formation change. It looks like Chelsea have got two substitutes coming on their way. The LeBron James of football in Christian Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech are both coming onto the pitch. As Yerry Mina was just stretching one off. Win probability now falls 66% Everton. 8% win probability for Chelsea. I think that shows how poor they've been when they've been behind, to be honest with you. Not really able to retain anything. Win the points back. Kovacic gets the ball down, drops it into Rudiger, into Marcus Alonso. Oh, it feels so defeating every time, man. Every time Chelsea go down. I don't know if anyone else feels that same way, but like it just whenever your team's 1-0 up, it always feels like the other team could score. But when you're 1-0 down, it never feels like you can score. It never feels like there'll be a goal coming. Mount into Marcus Alonso. Again, very little movement going forward. Aspilicueta's going to whip one in towards Havertz, and that header there from Havertz. Should have done better. Should have done better. Should have done much better there from Kai Havertz, I must say. It's a golden opportunity. It's a good ball in from Cesar Aspilicueta. He's minimum on target, that's got to be. Commentators saying got to be. It has to be. It absolutely has to be. Pulisic has come on for Aspilicueta. So, Wiki, looks like you've got your formation changing. Timo Werner has come off as well for Ziyech or Pulisic, whoever I just didn't say. So, Werner and Aspilicueta, the two players who've come off, and Ziyech and Pulisic, the two players coming on. So, it may be more of a 4 at the back at the moment. Or it could be a 5 at the back with Mount dropping in to centre midfield, Loftus-Cheek going out to right wing back, Reece James coming in at right centre half. We'll see what happens. That's what you get for being a Chelsea fan, up and down. Absolutely. It's been ridiculous over the last few months as well. Over the last few months, when you look at how well we started this season, it's been ridiculous. Kovacic there tries to flick one round. I can only think of one time where we've been behind and we've actually taken points, and I can only think of Liverpool. That's the only time I can think we've been behind and we've taken points, and that might be me being a little bit forgetful considering the amount of streams that I've done this season. But I cannot think of times where we've been behind and we've actually got points. We went behind against Brentford, didn't win. Lille, I guess against Lille in the second leg, was it the second leg? Yeah, the second leg we went 1-0 down, so that's another one. But it's just not really. Luton, if we're going to include Luton. Norwich, we were already 2-1 up when they scored. Brighton, they equalised against us. It's actually unbelievable the lack of goals, the lack of amount of times that Chelsea have gone behind and actually won. And realistically, the last time we've actually come from behind and won, by the looks of things, against a proper, in a proper game, in the sense of Lille was of course a second leg, and Luton being an FA Cup game. Aston Villa, by the looks of things. Aston Villa in December was the last time we came from behind to score and to win. and that was when Villa were going through a really, really rough patch. So that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Of course, we did it against Plymouth, if anyone cares. I'm sure Max will care. I kind of feel a little bit bad for Lukaku because you don't create high-quality chances, but the types of chances he misses are dreadful. It's one of those, I think it's where it's a little bit of one, half a dozen of the other sort of thing. And it's difficult because Lukaku, when you've got such a poor attitude that Lukaku has clearly shown this season for Chelsea, you don't get the opportunity to have a go at those at all. Like, you don't have an opportunity to get these crappy opportunities that Chelsea create because you've not put the work rate in. That's why Werner is starting over Romelu Lukaku. It's because Werner puts in the work rate and he looks like he wants to play in a Chelsea shirt. It's simple as that. It is simple as that. Realistically, if you put either Lukaku or Werner in front of goal, I'd probably say, I'd prefer to have Lukaku in front of goal. That's no lie. But in terms of overall creativity for the Chelsea side and who plays the best, it's Timo Werner by a long shot. And all three of Werner, Havertz and Lukaku squander chances. And considering a first shot on target has come from Cesar Azpilicueta in this game, tells you all you need to know. I think we should just chuck Reece James up front. I swear that man will bag 25 goals a season if you chucked him up front. I tell you what. Absolute baller Reece James is. 72 minutes on the clock. Everton with a corner. Headed back in. It might fall to Richarlison. Oh my gosh. It was great defending from Reece James there. I thought Richarlison was just about to pounce. Anthony Gordon does really well there to skip away from a few. Havertz does his defensive duties that time. I just don't know where the goals are coming from. That's what the most depleting thing about all of this is I don't know where the goals are coming from. It's not like I can look to the bench and go, oh yeah, there's a striker who scored 15 goals a season. Our top goal scorer is on. Why have you kicked that out, Rudiger? It's not a head injury. Why have you kicked that out, you idiot? Richarlison's gone down like a big baby on the floor. It's not even a head injury. Why have you kicked it out? He's out of the way. Oh, have you hurt your little foot, have you, Richarlison? Oh, Rudiger, why have you kicked that out? You just pandered to him, you absolute idiot. There is no need for that. He's got a little bit of cramp and we've kicked it out. I don't agree with that. I will never agree. We're just kicking the ball out because someone goes down. If it's a head injury, absolutely. Pause the play, make sure they're okay. But he's gone down holding his leg from something where he's overstretched. Unbelievable from Antonio Rudiger there. And he just looked pleased with himself as well. He shouldn't have kicked it out. He should not have kicked it out. Oh, God. Now we're watching the goal again. I don't want to be watching this again. He's awful from Azpilicueta. I don't know what he's thinking. Everton, for the first time in the game, put a little bit of a press on. And all of a sudden, Azpilicueta crumbles. And then he throws his hands up in the air as if someone else has done something. You're kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Unbelievable from Chelsea. Oh, and then Anthony Gordon, instead of kicking the ball back to the goalkeeper, kicks it out for a goal kick. This is exactly what I mean. We've now kicked the ball back, and now the Everton fans are chucking the ball away from us. Why have we kicked the ball out for Richarlison getting cramp if they're then going to be idiots? Unbelievable. Like, we're away from home. Who cares if the fans are giving you a bit of jip? Just play on. He's got a little bit of cramp. He needs to be fitter then if he's got a little bit of cramp. Unbelievable. As Havertz then somehow gives away a foul on Yerry Mina. I'm not sure who's fouled who there, to be honest with you. Again, I think it was a bit from both of them. I don't think there's a foul in there. I think he should have just played on. You know, it'd been hoofed up the field from Yerry Mina. Why not just play on? Why not just play on? Marcus Alonso has found himself in the book as well now. So there's another player in the book for Chelsea. Oh, God. Kovacic flicks it down the line. I tell you what, we've had two completely contrasting seasons on this channel so far, haven't we? We've had a Champions League win and whatever the hell this is. Ziyech does well. Lovely feet from Ziyech there. Havertz, oh, that was a little bit clumsy there from Havertz. And now there's some hefty tackles coming in from Allen, who wins the ball nicely. Chelsea take the throw in quickly though. Got 15 minutes left to play. Chat, get noisy. Let us know who you think's going to win this one. Are Everton going to hold on? Let us know. Marcus Alonso there, just fouled by Alex Iwobi. Not in a good enough territory there for either Marcus Alonso or Mason Mount, or maybe Hakim Ziyech to get himself on a free kick here. But it will be an opportunity to cross the ball in and get the likes of Thiago Silva, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Reece James and Antonio Rudiger into the box. Other than Yerry Mina, you'd fancy yourself as a Chelsea centre-half. It is whipped in by Ziyech and it's all the way across the front of the box, and no one's even attacked that there. No one has even attacked that there. No one has attacked it whatsoever. And Heung-min Son scored a third for Spurs. Did I say that right? Scored a third for Spurs? Yeah, that's it. That is how you say it. He has scored a third for Spurs, and so he's, I'm sure, curved if he's listening. Will be a little bit worried about his Mo Salah bet. In comes the corner from Mason Mount, headed in towards Rudiger there, and that's headed clear once again and hoofed up the field. Chelsea are just, honestly, man, honestly, I'm so fed up. So fed up. If you could lighten up my day a little bit by smashing that like button and getting us towards 15 likes, that would be absolutely excellent. Thank you. That would be absolutely fantastic. Kovacic rolls it out wide. Here's Marcus Alonso. Has to go all the way back to Eduard Mendy. Has to go all the way back. This season just shows that the UEFA Champions League was just a major form of overperforming. We definitely have to win today and hope Liverpool smack Spurs. That's what you've got to hope. That's what you've got to hope, Wiki. Yeah, it shows that Chelsea are a good cup side. It does. It shows they're a good cup side. But when it comes to the chemistry and players working well together, it shows they clearly aren't the greatest of it, because they can't do it over the course of a season. Rudiger put an interesting ball into the box there and caused a few problems there, but I think a Chelsea player has gone down. Everton applying a press as Reece James does well to drop that into Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek does really well. Skips past one, skips past two. He's going to take a shot on his left foot. Oh, good save again by Jordan Pickford. Pickford's keeping him afloat in this game. I'll tell you what, Ruben Loftus-Cheek still for me the player of the match from Chelsea so far. He's been absolutely fantastic, and Pickford just had Kai Havertz to contend with, who Havertz had gone down following the collision from the cross from the ball in between from Rudiger, and there was a couple of Chelsea players in there, and Havertz was just down, so Pickford had to try and move Havertz out of the way. But Richarlison, the big wuss, is coming off after a little bit of cramp, so good on you, Richarlison. Now actually leave the pitch. Salomon Rondon is the man who's going to be coming on. Of course, Richarlison did score the goal today, following the mistake from Cesar Azpilicueta as well. Salomon Rondon is on. Chelsea have themselves a corner. Taken short this time by Marcus Alonso. Pulled to the edge of the box towards Reece James. Alonso is going to try and whip on him with his right foot. Why did we bother doing that? What? Why? we took a short free kick so that Marcus Alonso could whip it in on his right foot. What is wrong with you? When would that be a logical thing? Whipped in there by Loftus-Cheek and headed back towards by Thiago Silva. Why did we take a short corner there for Marcus Alonso to whip it in on his right foot? He's a professional footballer who's one-footed and doesn't really use his right foot. Why are we allowing him? Why are we allowing him to do that? Second half attempts, Chelsea have had 11 attempts. How many attempts have we had on target though? Because that's all that really matters, isn't it? How many attempts have we had on target? Because I don't think we've had many whatsoever. I couldn't even tell. Two big chances missed. What a surprise. What a surprise for Chelsea. I cannot believe the form that this Chelsea side is in. And considering we're going into an FA Cup final against one of the most dominant sides that potentially, if they win the quadruple, the most dominant domestic side we've seen in England. And, you know, this is the form we're bringing into it. Struggling against a relegation candidate. Causing ourselves problems. How are you gonna do this, Thomas Tuchel, and keep a straight face, lad? Like, you've really got to question it. You've really got to question it. It's not even like they're in good form. Samuel is fuming. I most certainly am. How are we 1-0 down against these? I feel like it's happening every week now as well. It doesn't seem to be improving. Since Roman Abramovich has had to put the club up for sale, it's gone like that, and it's just gone woof, straight down. It was like, no. Such a limp attempt at a good push for the end of the season. Like, my goal for the end of the season, and I think it should have been Chelsea's goal, was to, you know, realistically, of course, you know, this isn't something that is necessarily achievable. Of course, you know, when I was saying Chelsea still mathematically could have won the league, you know, it is, of course, it's still a joke. Of course, it is still a joke. There's Havertz and Jordan Pickford are having a little bit of a push and a shove there. And Kevin Friend needs to keep hold of this little bit of argy-bargy between Yerry Mina and Kai Havertz, because all day it's been going on between the two of them. And they're both a pair of pillocks, and you know, they need to do more really to calm themselves down. I'm not sure why Yerry Mina keeps flopping on the floor like a big baby. Oh my God, Yerry Mina, you are 6'4", and Kai Havertz pushes you and you flop like a sack of spuds. Honestly, man, grow up. Yerry Mina, man, he's such a baby. Imagine being 6'4", and as soon as anyone pushes you, you go and flop on the floor like a fish. Like, that could never be me. Imagine that being your kid. I'd be embarrassed. Unbelievable. Stand and fight your own fights, lad. Stand and find your own fights. Do you feel like a Man United fan? I don't think I could ever feel that bad. Maybe pay them on performance. Be a bit of effort then. I mean, that could be a way to do it, couldn't it? That could be a way to do it. You know, you work it out other ways, rather than just, you know, they seem to feel like they're entitled, this Chelsea side do at the moment. I discussed it ages ago when we lost to West Ham, and I said that Chelsea, like, they think they're invincible because they've won this Champions League. And how many times this season have we seen, yes, they're a good side, there's no doubt about it, but how many times this season have we seen that lack of attitude from Chelsea? It is such a poor attitude from Chelsea, and you can see it. You really can. Like today, who's going, I'm going to grab this team by the scruff of its neck? No one is. No one is. The aggression is being used in the wrong way. Cast your minds back to Diego Costa. People like that. Drogba. They use the aggression in the right way. They'd wind up a player, and then they'd go and smack one in the back of the net. Kai Havertz, what does he do? He gets himself booked. He gets himself in trouble. Yerry Mina can flop around like a big baby all he wants because it's nice and easy. Oh my God, Damari Gray nearly scores then. Chelsea have been shambolic, and Everton there, all they had to do was turn on a little bit of class. It was a good ball from Decore to find Demarai Gray. Demarai Gray just takes it on his right foot, looks to bend one into that top corner, and I tell you what, that was not far away whatsoever. That was not far away whatsoever. This is unbelievable, unbelievable. We had an opportunity here today to come to a side that, in a relegation battle, that are fighting at the bottom of the table. And, you know, we've got the opportunity to really sink the nail in the coffin, to really cause them problems. We've not done any of that. We've not done any of that. Not done any of that whatsoever. And it's absolutely shambolic. And Rondon's just shrugged someone off the ball there as well. Jose Salomon Rondon, the man who scored 1 goal all season. Don't make him look like bloody Didier Drogba, man. Oh, Anthony Gordon, he's just gone straight past Thiago Silva here. Anthony Gordon, he's going to roll one in. Oh, Rondon there nearly flicks one into the back of the net. Why are we making Rondon look like the second coming of Ibrahimovic as well? Like, what's going on here? Come on, Chelsea, just up it, lads. Up it. We just don't create enough. It falls back to that creation, that attacker, that belief. Pulisic might be able to get himself in here. Can he look up and see a pass? No, he can't, because he kicks it straight to Seamus Coleman. It's unbelievable from Chelsea. It really is. Unbelievably bad. I totally forgot Pulisic was on the pitch. I'm not going to lie to you. Totally forgot he was on the pitch. Unbelievable. If Rondon had scored that, I tell you what, I'd have ended the stream straight away. I tell you what, I'd have been absolutely fuming if he'd have flicked that in. Would have been absolutely fuming. Chelsea don't have anything to play for, just the cup final. I think Chelsea aren't as far from Spurs and Arsenal as they think they are. Yeah, that's the thing. When you come to a side like Chelsea at the moment, they've got nothing to play for. They've got nothing to play for at the moment. And, you know, you can see, it looks like half the team's on holiday already. It looks like half the team's on holiday already, to be honest with you. Looks like half the team's on holiday already. And it's shown by this performance here today. They look like they're on holiday. They look like they're on holiday. It's unbelievable. Really, really shambolic performance from Chelsea today. Like, that first half was very, very Chelsea for the entirety of this season. And it'd be very Chelsea as well for us to score a late one. And it won't change the way that they've played all today, even if we do nick a point. Ziyech does really well, though, down that left-hand side. Alonso, can he make the right decision? Oh, I don't know who committed there on Mateo Kovacic, but it's a good job Kovacic moved his foot out of the way, because that would have been a certain penalty if the connection had been made. Anthony Gordon's going to burst down the left-hand side, and that's a good save there by Edouard Mendy. Everton now just looking to hit on the attack. Chelsea committing men forward, as they should do. But Anthony Gordon's just having a field day. He's so much quicker than most of these Chelsea defenders, and with some good feet he can find himself in a little bit of space. I didn't make a score prediction, but suggested that I think Lampard could get something. I knew Lampard would win this. Lol. It's just mentality. It is just mentality from Chelsea. It really is. And there's been... Yerry Mina and Kai Havertz have been at it all game, I'll tell you what. There's another potential foul in there between the two of them. Another potential foul as Iheanacho gets a consolation back for Leicester City in that game. Let's see how many minutes of added time we get. Chelsea probably best hope is a penalty, but saying that, last time Chelsea got a penalty, we all remember what Jorginho did with it anyway. I think he's offside there, Mason Mount, isn't he? He's going to try go to the byline and whip the ball in, looking for Kai Havertz. Why have we got 8 players outside the box and they've got 8 players in their own box? Are we forgetting that we're a goal down? Do something with it, lads. Do something with it. Like, just move yourself forward. Why is there so many people outside the box? How many minutes of added time is that? Have I read that right? Is that 1 or is that 7? It's 7 minutes of added time. What have we got 7 minutes of added time for? 7 minutes of added time at the end of this game. Are you kidding me, man? Are you kidding me? I mean, I'm not moaning, but 7 minutes seems massive. And we're not even back underway again in the first bit. So this first minute's going to be pretty much entirely added on at the end again. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Dele Alli looks like he's going to come on for the final 5 or so minutes in extra time. 7 minutes of extra time. If there'd have been like 5, it'd have been like, yeah, alright. 7 minutes? Where have they put that from? Come on, Chelsea, let's make the most of it then. We've got nearly another 10 minutes of play here. Ziyech just slips at the vital moment, drops it back though to Reece James somehow. Reece James's cross hasn't been great. He's been a little bit quiet as well, as of most of the Chelsea players today. Like I say, for me, Ruben Loftus-Cheek has been the best performing Chelsea player on the pitch. Most noticeable, most certainly, as we go into the final sort of 6 or so minutes of play here. Can Chelsea get themselves a goal? If they get themselves a goal now, then they could really, really cause some problems for the final 5 minutes or so. Ziyech. Hakim Ziyech on the edge of the box, tries to dance away. Is there a foul in there, referee? I think there might have been. Marcus Alonso into Kovacic! Kovacic! Oh, what a save that is from Pickford! What a save that is from Jordan Pickford once again. Pickford's elated, absolutely, he should be, but he's fuming at his defenders. He just let Kovacic wander through there. Kovacic again picks up the ball, whips one in towards that back post this time, and Pickford claims this time and flops on the floor like he did last week against Liverpool. We all know how that one turned out last time, though. We all know how that one turned out last time. It was good play, actually, by Marcus Alonso, who managed to find Kovacic, but then Kovacic's shot, he really could only go to that near post. So Pickford, despite being absolutely screaming at his defenders, knew exactly where that was going to go, if I'm honest with you. Jordan Pickford is an absolute psycho, man. He's a great goalkeeper, but he's a psycho, I tell you what. Oh, Richarlison, how's your little cramp? Demarai Gray is the man making way for Dele Alli, and Kevin Friend is just ushering him off here because he's going to try and take as long as possible. Handshakes from all the team, you know, go through all the fans, make sure that they're all aware that he's leaving the pitch. Classic gamesmanship from Demarai Gray. On comes Dele Alli. Still the weirdest transfer I've ever seen. It still looks weird seeing him play in blue. Couldn't be bothered to score when it was 1-0, but want to score now. Kovacic into Reece James. Reece James, why does he keep lining them up? Every time he's taken a shot from the edge of the box today, Reece James has been closed down. I don't get why you would keep attempting it. Like, what? The definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting different results. And just like Thomas Tuchel is doing the same thing every week and expecting different results, and Chelsea having to scrape and battle and generally just be poor, Reece James is being the definition of insanity. He's doing the same things over and over in this game, trying to get a shot off. At least he's the man trying to take a shot, though. I don't think I've seen Havertz take a shot there, as Dele Alli surely fouls Thiago Silva there. Absolutely. And of course, Dele Alli will be a player who will love playing this as a former Spurs lad. Reece James is going to take this free kick. Come on, Chelsea. Come on, let's sink him. come on. Right, my thing just completely crashed. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. That'll tell us all we need to know about how good this game has been for me today. I didn't even get to see what happened from that free kick. It crashed. Oh, it was offside, so it doesn't really matter. What have I just done on this screen? I don't know. But there we are. I do feel a bit sorry for Tuchel because he's going through some personal issues right now, but this has to change. I mean, you can always feel sorry for him when it comes to that. I think his family, I think his wife is divorcing him or something along those lines, or, you know, they're going through a divorce or whatever it may be. I don't know who Kevin French just booked that time. But yeah, he has got a few personal issues, but also, if my personal issues started fading into a job, or if anyone else's did, and it started to result in not being able to do your job correctly, then they would tell you to, you know, they might tell you to have a break, or they might tell you to do this and do that. And if he's not up to do the job, then he shouldn't do the job. So realistically, there is no excuses. And, you know, that sounds harsh, but if you're not up to doing it, then don't do the job. Everton fans not giving the ball back again. Unbelievable. Come on, Chelsea. Do something with it, lads. Do something with it. Ball knocked forward there. Mateo Kovacic might be able to hit at that one again. Dele Alli tries to clear. It's rebounded. Its way to Pulisic though. Pulisic, can he see Marcus Alonso and drop it back to him? Alex Iwobi puts some good. There's no option to have a break though. No, I think the summer comes thick and fast for. I think it will come at the right time for Thomas Tuchel. To be honest with you, that's the thing. He maybe he needs to try sort something out when the new owners come in. He's got a lot on his plate with that as well. As Rondon just decides to ride on top of the ball. Dele Alli tries to get himself through. Come on, let's counter-attack. We've got maybe one more opportunity here. One more opportunity. Ziyech is giving the ball away. Brilliant. Thank you, Hakim. Ziyech manages to win the ball back again. Clip towards Marcus Alonso, who's been the main striker for the last 5 minutes or so, and that looks like it is. It is full time. Is it? Well, Lampard seemed to assume it was. We looked at Lampard and it looked like he assumed it was. Pickford's playing all the games he can. Taking his time. Kevin Friend's not blowing the whistle yet. And there we are. Pickford finally kicks the ball. And that is it. That is full time. And to be honest with you, I don't really know what to say to that, because I feel like I'm being a bit of a broken record at the moment, to be honest with you. I feel like that's how I am. I sit here, I watch Chelsea play okay for 45 minutes but not create anything. The second 45 minutes, they either concede or they get lucky. And today, they've conceded and not got lucky. So I'm sat here in the exact same position that I was however many days ago when we beat West Ham. I'm sat here in the exact same position. And this Chelsea side needs something. Like Wiki says, I think the end of the season can't come fast enough for you. Yeah. There's so many things off the pitch and on the pitch which are affecting this Chelsea side. You can't forget that a lot of these players, like when it comes to Rudiger's leaving because Chelsea couldn't offer him a contract and they tried to lowball him in the first place. So he doesn't have a contract. Azpilicueta got his contract extended by a clause in his contract, and so a lot of these people's futures are uncertain. Then bring that in and bring it in with obviously the idea of a new owner, which of course has its problems in itself. So you then got this new owner that will come in and obviously have a different style and how they want to do it. Then, like I say, Thomas Tuchel has his personal issues off the pitch. You've got people like Romelu Lukaku who don't play for the club or don't seemingly have their head in the right place to play for the club. And you bring that all together, and this is what you get. Performances like this are what you get. You get a team that has been graced with a fantastic cup run last season, built by, ironically, the team is built by the man who owns the team, who manages, the team, that beat us today. This team is pretty much Lampard's squad still. You've got to remember that. Other than Lukaku, it's pretty much Lampard's squad. But to me, it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable that Chelsea, even still, even with all these things going on off the pitch, that they are losing games like this that they should be winning. It's the lack of creativity that worries me. It's the lack of diversity in the sense of creating of opportunities. They all come through the same means and ways of creating chances, either going down the width, using the sides. If Mason Mount doesn't score, who's scoring for us? Oh, Reece James, brilliant, our fullback. And so you sit here and you just, what can we actually do? What can we actually do to improve? And like Wiki says, the new season, the end of this season, can't come quick enough. Cannot come quick enough. Chelsea just need to tip themselves over, keep themselves ahead of Arsenal and Spurs, get themselves that extra third place revenue, and hopefully win the FA Cup. If we can win the FA Cup from this season, I'd be mightily surprised. We need to win the FA Cup. We need to stop Liverpool from winning the quadruple. We need to. We need to. Of course, we're going to be backing Manchester City to win the league so that doesn't happen as well. But the fact is, we are now a side that are hoping other teams lose. And that is never where you want to be. That is never where you want to be. You look at Manchester United, that's all their life has been over the last few seasons, is, we really hope this team wins so that Liverpool don't win. Oh, we really hope this team wins so that Manchester City wins. Or don't win, sorry. And so that's where we're at the moment. We are falling to that level. And like Wiki says, who knows? What is the difference between Chelsea and Arsenal at the moment? I don't know. Do you? Because I really, really don't know. I want to send Lampard down to his level. I hope Arsenal beat Everton on the last day. It's going to be close. It is going to be close, but that's a massive win for them. A massive win for them today. Huge win for Everton today. And of course, we'll put them 2 points behind Leeds and Burnley, and of course Leeds now are the team that are going to be looking over their shoulder, because they are the team that you'd probably typically think are probably in the worst of form. But that being said, they're starting to get a few of their players coming back into the side as well, so maybe they will be okay. But all three sides look pretty much too good to go down, but it's going to be one of them, and it's anyone's guess, isn't it? It's anyone's guess who goes down. That being said though, guys, I am fed up of rambling and ranting. Thank you for those who have supported this channel and this stream. I do hope you have enjoyed. If you had, like I say, do be sure to smash that like button for us and do hit subscribe. We'll be back in midweek. We'll probably do the second leg of the Champions League game between Manchester City and Real Madrid, of course, up the Real Madrid. Hopefully they can put in a good performance. We always want to be knocked out by the eventual winners. Makes it a little bit softer of a blow for you when being knocked out of the Champions League. But it doesn't look like it'll happen, to be honest with you. No matter how bad it gets, you're not Manchester United, said Yusuf. That is very, very true. That being said, I will leave you guys there. I do hope you have enjoyed. If you had, like I say, do be sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe. I will see you later. I will see you later. And most importantly, guys, stay safe. Cheers.